Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's the 12th day of February. It's 9 o'clock and we are in the Commissioner's Courtroom in the Aransas County Courthouse, 2840 Highway 35 North, Rockport, Texas. And we're going to change the format a little. The first thing we're going to do is the invocation. Please join me and Commissioner Dupnick in a prayer.
Father, we thank you for this day. I thank you for these people that are here this morning, Father. I know everyone is here because they care about the business of this county. They care about their fellow citizens, Lord. And I just ask you to be with this court as we conduct business, because the business we conduct is your business. We're conducting it for the people of this county, Father. Just guide us as we make decisions, as we go through this agenda. I ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, you may be seated. Going to do a roll call.
Commissioner Cheney,
Here.
Commissioner Casterline, Commissioner Russo, here, Commissioner Dupnick,
Here.
and Judge Garza.
Here, we got a full court. At this time, we'll have a citizen to be heard. Is Miss Jimenez here? Oh, good morning. You may step up to the mic. Oh,
End of the deal.
okay. Would you like to speak now or wait till the agenda item?
There's an agenda item?
Yeah, it's down
Yeah.
toward the end of it's a long
for
way
the
down
minute?
the list.
Number 17.
Can speak.
I don't know if my kids.
Okay.
will make it.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and have you speak now. Just state your name and your address and then address the court.
Okay. And then also, we might be coming back because I have many in my party that are interested, the neighbors and everything, and my husband too, but he couldn't be here. My name is Miracle Jimenez. I live at 905 Sturt Street. My problem is that, with all due respect, I prepared a speech. It went to 5 minutes. I rehearsed it, but I'm throwing it out because I just want to say this from my heart, because there were cops last night surrounding that house. And, you know, I can't sleep at night. I'm terrified. And I don't want Rockport to turn into that. I'm from Seattle. I lived an hour away from Seattle. And the homeless problem destroyed that beautiful, beautiful city that I went to as a child. And now I came here to get away from that. And it's steps away from my driveway. There's a homeless encampment. I pleaded with code enforcement to do something when it started in September, right before I had my baby. I've had horrible postpartum depression because of it, and I've only seen it grow. It's the view from my kitchen window. Whenever I do the dishes, I see this. Mr. Garza, Your Honor, I see this. I see it from my front door. I have this beautiful front yard with a fence, about half an acre, where I take my children to play every day. But I can't do that lately. I don't feel safe. I can't leave them alone. I used to let them just run outside, run out the door, and I felt totally safe. But now I have to worry about them seeing a strange man in the bushes or being picked up for trafficking. I don't know, because that kind of stuff just invites crime. About 2 weeks ago, there was an ambulance there with 2 cop cars, sheriff cars, and the cops don't tell us anything. We ask what they're doing and why the cops are in our bushes looking for, you know, a sack of something, and they don't talk to us, and we don't feel safe. We don't feel supported. And Rockport is paradise for a lot of people. And Rockport it's a retirement town full of vulnerable people, and we need help. We need help from code enforcement. And I'm at my wit's end, as you can tell. I'm at my wit's end because I want to take my children down the street, and I can't, because when I first moved in, they had loose pit bulls all the time, and I've been almost killed by a pit bull. These are my scars, and I don't want to live in fear anymore. I beg you to help us. I saw two other women in January come here talking about how their rights are also being infringed on at their own home. And it's devastating when it's at your own home. Please, please, I beg you to look at this and keep Rockport beautiful and keep the crime out, keep the drugs out, keep it a good place. I'm a homeschooling mother. I've got these 3 little children that I'm raising in the Lord's name. I've dedicated all 3 of them to the Lord. And I can't do that to my fullest extent. I can't do my job. I can't be a good Christian, God-fearing mother because I'm afraid. I'm vulnerable. My husband works all the time. He's got a small business here. And we care very much about this community. We're not here to, take advantage of what happened after the hurricane. We're here to help because my hometown was destroyed by this. And I beg you that God has appointed you to help people like me and the retired school teacher that stood here. I beg you. I have the ordinance here in my hand that I've told code enforcement about that was signed here. I also have this picture that says that this is a public nuisance and it needs to be fixed. There's a dilapidated trailer just steps away from my doorstep and it's in the public right away. This is a picture of what it was. I know it's hard to see. When I first reported it, it was an ex-con who moved into a trailer in my neighbor's backyard. And this is a picture of it today. I just took this morning. You've seen it, well, but you don't know it. And now there's 2 dilapidated trailers there. Yeah, and I don't want to live in fear. I need your help. If I could approach the bench and give you these papers.
Sure.
What was your address again, ma'am?
Yeah. Okay,
And Mr. Bobo, check it out.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thumbs up.
All right, we have a Jessica Pape. Would you like to speak? Oh, would you like to speak now or wait for the item? Okay, all right, sounds good. All right, we're gonna move on to item number 1, or is that all that signed up? All right, item number 1, presentations and proclamations. It's a presentation regarding risk management services from the Texas Association of Counties. Is there a Lisa McCaig here?
Is she online, Colin? I don't see him, Lisa.
All right. Well, if she shows up, we could probably revisit. No show. All right. Item number, or I'm sorry, section number 7, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and we've got a second. See, we don't have any donations.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Donation from Andrew King.
Yeah. Oh, it's on the bottom. All right. Come on up and read them.
Good morning, everybody. We only have one donation, but we are gracious for it. Andrew Kane donated $200 towards the shelter. We do appreciate what he has done for us this week.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
All right.
I would also like to recommend that we do a press release for the award of the certificate of compliance for the jail, which is item number 4 under the consent agenda. I lived in Corpus Christi for 20 years and they struggled to ever get their jail certified. And this is, I don't know, the 13th, 14th, 15th time, 16th time, thank you, that our jail has received a certificate of compliance. And that is very impressive.
I'm good with that. Any other discussion? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Scottisa.
Aye, passes 5 yeas, 0 nays. Move on to section number 8, item number 6.
I move to approve the Rockport Fulton Chamber of Commerce fourth quarter report for 2023.
Second.
Got a motion? Got a second?
I think Shannon's here.
Ms. Bickerstaff, go ahead and approach. Morning.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Thank you.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I think you all are all aware this will be my last presentation to the Rockport Fulton Chamber or Commissioners Court. But I do have with me this morning my replacement. She's beginning today. We're going to do some hard and fast training this week. She'll be the face of the future, and this is Alyssa Massengale. She's here to kind of see what happens this morning, but it's been a pleasure working with you all, and I'm sure that we will see faces. I'll still be in Rockport and commuting to Beeville to run the Beeville Chamber of Commerce, but
And did you say Alyssa Massengale?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right, so I'm just going to briefly highlight the fourth quarter, October, November, and December activities with the chamber. Okay, so Aransas Pathways is one of the committees that the chamber oversees, and I'm really excited about Aransas Pathways. We just recently had a strategic planning meeting this past year. You all had offered some funds for marketing for the Aransas Pathways. And so with that strategic plan and the marketing plan, the future looks very bright. Had a great group that was there. So this next year, I foresee with the marketing plan and the partnerships that have been developed, and it looks like a 3 or 5 year plan coming out to develop activities in the Pathways products to bring local and out-of-town visitors. The Attractions Committee is another committee that we work with each month. That's a monthly meeting. We are going to move that to quarterly. The quarterly meeting, what we do is we bring in local museum managers and event organizers to gather the calendar of events information that's going on in Rockport Fulton. And then that information, of course, is moved out to, we send it out to statewide websites. We push it out through Constant Contact. We push it out to publications throughout the state, just letting the region and the state know what's happening in our area. Geocache, we are a member, the chamber has purchased a level of the Geo Tour package sponsorship. And what we're seeing with that enables us to find out how many people are visiting Rockport Fulton each month to find our geocache items. And it's averaging a little over 200 per month. So that's great. And also GeoTour gives us an opportunity to post through their Instagram and Twitter and Facebook pages as well. So we're constantly out there in the region. Marketing and promotion through our social media pages, visit Rockport Fulton. So we're taking those annual events and we're pushing those out both locally and outside. We have, you all have heard about the Texas Music Friendly contract. We're working with the Office of the Governor. We're just awaiting an official announcement date, so that still is forthcoming. That'll give to us a database of musicians that we can tap into, as well as they will actually start marketing our events and festivals here in Rockport Fulton. So that's an exciting new program that we're looking forward to. Goodie bags, what the chamber does is we meet with group businesses. In the fourth quarter there, we met with the Ford Team Model. That's a group, you all remember that, and Jennifer was very, very involved with that as well. But we put together goodie bags for groups that are coming to Rockport Fulton so that they know what to do while they're here visiting our town. They were here for a week, so that was a really good piece of business. Meal Mob, that's a program that we've fairly recently started. And basically the idea is to highlight the local businesses in the area. And for the fourth quarter, Panjo's Tropical Smoothie and Las Camales were the restaurants that we highlighted. We just go and we mob the restaurant and show our support and just let the community know and residents know that they're available. And we're trying to promote local restaurant business. The Smithsonian Institution Traveling Exhibit, which is coming to Rockport Fulton in 2025. The committee is well organized. We've assigned tasks. Alyssa will be stepping on board in my place. And the group is going to be meeting later on this month to talk about plans for that event as we're inviting partners to be involved. The Texas Coastal Bend Regional Tourism Council held an X Business Expo in October in Cuero. The chamber is as a member of those different partnerships within the region, like the Texas Pecos Trail, so on and so forth. And again, we're just trying to promote those activities here in our area. Seafair, of course, that was a big event in October. We were excited this year, despite the torrential rain on Thursday, which pretty much shot the carnival. We had a great weekend. Last year, our attendance was 12,000. This year, we estimate it was right at 15,000. The carnival was a big draw, and of course, the Bellamy Brothers. Friday night was a really good draw. So we are already, in fact, this evening, we're having our first Seafair Committee meeting for 2024. So good event, always learning, always improving, trying to find ways to draw more people into the community. And this is just some of our digital creative. Well, let me back up just a bit here. So short-term rental, we have a short-term rental council. And what that council is working on right now, they're working with the city of Rockport on ordinances. I think they're very close. We're talking about probably the next 6 months or so. They've been working with both the short-term owner rentals and residents to find a plan that works both for both parties involved. The RV Council, they meet once a month. That group is really growing within the chamber. In fact, we may have to find another location to meet. It's growing so large, but each month we get together and have a topic of interest to those RV park owners. And then the fourth quarter, we talked to the Camp Spot software was something that they learned about. And in December, Katie McLeod with Quilly's RV Park, she went to the National KOA conference and shared all the trends and data that's available to RV park owners as well. So that's going real well. And they also, the RV Park Council is responsible for the Winter Texan Appreciation Day, which we planned. And of course, that was held in January. And again, despite torrential rain, we had 907 people come through the Fulton Convention Center. We had some outside satellite locations this year. We had another 350 visit those satellite locations for over 1,200 in participation. But those that were not visited want to participate again this next year. It was just the rain that was a deterrent, but good turnout for it rained all day long. So Tourism Development Council, we are in the process. We met in November and also put together, we finalized our marketing plan. And what we're working on right now, we had a photo contest in the fall. We're working on new creative for our digital and billboard ads. So that's ongoing. This is some of our digital creative that we've used in the past. You all, the rest of this are graphs that I know that you all have looked at in advance. Our local versus out-of-town visitors. Out-of-town visitors to the Chamber of Commerce is 87%, and our local is a little over 12% that come into the Rockport Visitor Center. And other than that, those are the highlights. Any questions?
I just have a question on the budget page. The administrative services reimbursement for 6,000. What does that involve? It's the last page.
Yes. That's the internal, outside of the marketing plan budget. Administrative services are the internal copies, payroll. That's our administrative costs.
And how is it determined what size allocation will be made to the hotel motel?
That is a Shelley question because she takes care of the budget. But those administrative services are our internal costs outside of the advertising and marketing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well,
All right. Well, thank you all very much.
Having you here.
yep.
Pardon?
We've enjoyed having you here. Good luck with it.
Thank you, Bubba. Same here. I've enjoyed all the relationships I made with all the different committees and people I've worked with. So, but not going far, and wish you luck. And
So you
anybody,
had Beeville?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. There, I have no idea where I'm focusing right now on Rockport, Fulton. When I get to Beeville, we'll cross that bridge. But I've ran the Chamber of Commerce in Ozona for 20 years. So it's not my first chamber running, but I'll miss Rockport. But I'll be living here and just commuting. So,
Awesome.
but best of luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Wish you the best.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
and Judge Gutsa.
Aye, passes. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Item number 7.
Move to approve the Friends of the Fulton Mansion report for the fourth quarter of 2023.
I'll second that.
We got a motion, we got a second. Ma'am? Yes. I know the agenda says Pam Shanahan, but that was a typo.
Hi, I'm Jane Hill, Judge Garza and Commissioners. I'm the current president of the Friends of Fulton Mansion. And this is Courtney Smith. She's an employee of the Mansion, State of Texas, the Historical Commission. She's a new educator. What we're presenting today is a full year report. And the reason we're doing that is that we have had, the site has had a loss of several employees. The site manager left in May. We had a complete turnover of educators. So there was a time when there were no educators. And we really, I don't think, met the requirement of meeting the quarterly report. So in my opinion, we're due a full year report. So that's what we're presenting today. So if you'll go to the next slide, please.
May I ask a quick question?
Yes,
for
ma'am.
you again? And thank you for explaining that. Is there currently a site manager?
We have a temporary site manager. She's on loan from one of the other sites. She's a very experienced manager and she's doing a great job, but she's split between 2 sites. So she's at our site part of the time, their site part of the time. Is why she's not here today. And the folks in Austin who are looking to replace, responsible for hiring, they've got candidates, but they've had a difficult time last year of finding anyone. In fact, they made a couple different offers, and one gentleman who everybody loved, he turned it down because we couldn't pay, or the state couldn't pay, moving expenses. And he took a job with a private museum who, they have those kinds of funds. The state just doesn't do that. And another lady was offered the job and turned it down. I don't know what reason that is. We're hearing a little bit about the high cost of living in Rockport, or some folks who are coming from smaller areas, that they look at the cost of living is a little bit high. So I think it's been quite a challenge for the folks in Austin, and we're, hoping to hope that they get someone in who's very experienced. We need a strong site manager. We have a lot of visitors. It's an important site to the state. And so when I came on board, we didn't have a site manager initially, and I put together a lot of things here, and then have had the site manager help me. So I put together this slide presentation, and so she came in time to help pretty it up. And so she's got the logos, and we presented a lot of pictures that Courtney and her group were able to pull from last year, and the events. So that I asked for what were the list of events that we did last year. I was a docent at the museum, but I wasn't involved in the financial side of the Friends. So.
Thank you.
Yes.
I received a letter from you when I renewed my dues, so I'm
Oh,
familiar
okay.
with your name, but.
Okay,
thanks for
yes,
putting
yes.
face with it.
Well, that's one of the things I'm doing is thanking in my handwriting. I want to have a personal
Yes.
touch to our members of Friends. So we do have someone handwrite the note, but I felt like that we need a personal signature on all of our letters and
It was
notes. So
very
I'm doing
nice.
that. Well, good. I'm glad.
But I'll be glad when we're fully staffed.
Oh, gosh,
because
will
it's
we
a
all?
tremendous asset to our.
Well, we all, yes, it is. And we realize that. And when you don't have staff, that's when it really hits home. So, okay, next slide. First of all, I'm going to just read from my slides if you don't mind. Back to the previous slide. Sorry. Oh.
I tried.
Oh, okay. There. Thank you. There. Okay. Thank you for your support. First of all, we know that everyone in the town loves Fulton Mansion, as do our visitors. And then this just explains that we lost our site manager, and so that therefore we're presenting for a full year. I'm going to present how the hot funds were spent and what our continuing expenditures will be. Our attendance records of visitors staying in hotel areas to support, our heads to beds, and our projects and events that attracted visitors. And Courtney's here to answer questions too about any of the projects or events, because she's part of putting those together and a little bit familiar with some of the things that we did last year. So some of the things that we did and that we are continuing to do is to revitalize Harriet's Garden. That's the gardens in the back. When you enter the museum, you're actually entering the back of the house, and those were Harriet's gardens that we have pictures, and we know that she had beautiful gardens. And we also have receipts from the plants that she purchased. She was trying different things out. We have done a few things. What we want to do in the coming year, it may take more than 1 year, we want to have a master plan where we use either like a landscape architect or some similar professional who can help us put together a beautiful garden. So the state, we kind of go back and forth with whether we want to do native, which would reflect our environment here, but it doesn't really reflect a Victorian garden. So the state kind of is looking at what kind of a garden. That's what kind of has held some of it up is a garden that takes a lot of attention. We don't have a lot of staff. We have one person who takes care of all of the grounds. And so, as you all know, who are gardeners, it takes more than just, watering it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking at upgrading the kitchen. In fact, we're about to purchase a beautiful stove. It's going to cost us about $7,000 that fits that Victorian era in the 1870s. And that's coming from, I think, Maryland or Massachusetts. And we want to enhance the rest of the kitchen down there. Now, if you've been there, it's a little bit sparse. Our current part-time site manager, she's a site manager of another Victorian house in the East Texas, I believe. And when she saw our kitchen, she thought it was a little sparse. So she's going to help us with that. And so we're glad that we have that experience. Excuse me. So we will be spending some more money there. That helps to make that a more beautiful space so that when people do visit the mansion, we want them to come away with it. Wow, this is really incredible. And the basement is an interesting space. It's because that's where all the work was done. The other thing is we want to have more destination weddings. Those bring in big parties. We had 3 in October of this year. And so we plan to, that's another slide that I'll get to. So I'll quickly go through the rest of these. We have some history and art programs. That's what Courtney does, along with we have another educator, Esmeralda, and we're still supposed to hire another one. So they work on all of our projects and events. We, of course, do the Victorian Christmas. You've probably all seen the beautiful lights out there, and we have a Santa, and we want to return caroling to the mansion. We've had lots of people say that they miss that. So we want to return. We weren't able to do it this year because we just didn't have the staff. The mansion didn't. We were, desperately understaffed. We want to attract convention visitors. And we've had a proposal of a Victorian playhouse. We discovered that what's the people who own the playhouse? The Fultons, thank you. The Fultons had a playhouse for their children. So we're thinking about a playhouse, something that would attract maybe an interactive. So when children come, because it's in the summer, it's all children and families. And so we have something that attracts the children out on the playground that they can maybe play in, and will be a fun thing for them because they get a little bored with the inside of the house. Let's see, provide training to our docents. Our docents receive quite an extensive training program. So we're not just, you buy your ticket and you go into the house by yourself. And I was one of those, and there's a lot of training and I'm still learning. We like to give an example of how the family lives. So not only that they're seeing it, but they're hearing about the ways the family lived in that time. So it's a step back in time. We participated in Sea Camp and Music at the Mansion, which we plan to definitely do that. And we're actually thinking about maybe spring and fall instead of the summer because it's so darn hot. So we're still, in that planning stage, but Music in the Mansion is very popular. And it is in the summer. We have so many summer people here. Yes. Yes, sir.
Before you leave that, one of the things I was just thinking about on the revitalization of the Harriet's Garden.
Yes.
Have y'all talked to the master gardeners here?
We have. Thank you. Appreciate it. We have.
I know they do some beautiful stuff.
They do. And they were involved in what we are doing right, or what we did last year. They were involved, and they will be probably once we have a master plan.
Okay.
And so we need to have a design by someone who has that expertise.
Sure.
And then we can certainly work with master gardeners. Would really like to see us do native, and I like native too. It makes a lot of sense to me. But the folks in Austin, they are presenting something that's a step back in time, historical. They want it to look like, what a Victorian garden might have looked like. So until that decision is made, we really don't want to go further with planning things that may not work.
Okay.
So is that,
Well, I just
Makes
was
sense.
wondering about that because, there
Oh,
are
yeah.
great resources are.
it is a great
open a lot.
resource. And I understand in previous years that there were a lot of them that tended to the garden. And if we had that kind of volunteerism to tend to the garden, then that would really be nice. It's hard to get volunteers, period, but yes, they have been involved and I'm sure they will continue to be.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the next slide. This was some of our advertising strategy, and we actually hope to spend more on advertising out of town. We advertise in Coastal Scene Magazine. The Knot is a wedding planning site. Coastal Media, there were digital billboards in Waco, San Angelo, and Floresville. And we actually had people in Austin tell us that they heard it on the public radio station. Oh, and then there's KEDT, that's the public radio. That's where we had that comment. We were on Morning Edition, we had 20 spots, All Things Considered 20 spots, Classic Music 30 spots, and then we were a featured story. So we'll probably continue that, but we need help with a little bit of expertise in where that should go. And I'd like to invite help from our city. Who was our first speaker?
Chamber of
Yes.
Commerce.
Yes. Invite help from them, because I'm sure that the city must spend some time and expertise or people with expertise about where to spend those advertising dollars. We want to get the biggest bang for the buck, so that wherever we're spending it, it's bringing people to us.
Probably having someone attend that tourism development council would be a good thing too.
Yes, I very much would, and I'm sure that our site manager will as well. Okay, these are not our total expenses, but these were direct expenses that were related to attracting visitors. Whoops, back. Yeah, so advertising 15,000, and I actually think we may spend a little bit more than that this coming year, because that's what I feel like actually is a bigger draw for bringing people. Then once they get here, our lovely town sells itself. But on Christmas decorations, 16,000. The lights, when I first got on the board and I saw what we were spending, I thought, wow, the board has had several bids. And it's a very labor intensive. Once I saw them put up all of the lights and the work that goes into it, and that they've gotten 3 bids in it, and it's very, very expensive. It's beautiful, and we still want to continue to do that. I think the town really appreciates it. And there have actually been some suggestions. I recently had someone suggest to me that maybe not in Christmas, but maybe some lights underneath the trees at night. But all those things have to be approved by Austin, but I will feed those things to Austin, and because it's a beautiful, when you drive on Fulton Beach Road and you see that. So that's what the Christmas decorations, it's expensive, but it's beautiful, and we plan to continue that. Our gardens last year, 8,500. We know that price is going to go up once we have that master plan. Our tour guides, that we have not been able to find volunteers. We've had to pay our volunteers for tour guides, but our guides are not just there manning or womaning the site. They, as I explained, and I went through a very extensive training so that when visitors come, they have a quality tour. And eventually we do hope to get away from that, but if you have ideas about volunteers, boy, we're racking our brains, and this is one of the things that Courtney's going to be working on. And so we hope to do some advertising in the local paper asking for volunteers, but everyone that has any kind of an organization here we're all competing for the same group of people who have the time and the desire to volunteer. So I'll go to the next slide. There we go. So statistics for last year, our total visitors was 13,435. I'm told that that's down from previous years. So I know that the site managers, when they are hired, when that person is hired, they're tasked with increasing that. That's part of their job description. So we do hope to see that go up. But our total out of town was 9,404. and for a total hotel nights of 2,039. We track that from our service, point of sale system. So when someone comes in to buy their ticket, we're asking for their area code. And then the next question is, how many nights are you staying in hotels, motels, or B&Bs? So that's, we're glad that we have that in our system. Okay. These were just some of the projects. It's not all of them, but some of the projects and events that attract visitors. Of course, we had the 3 weddings in October, which we hope to increase. We had vintage Valentine program, oyster painting class during Oyster Fest, an Easter egg hunt, which we are planning right now for the Easter egg hunt. We've ordered 6,000 eggs. That's how many eggs it takes because the children love it and they want more than 1 egg. But and then the Texas Maritime Museum, the Sea Camp, we participated in that. And then Historic Foodways program. We had a Cooking with Harriet cooking class. So some of the projects and events, again, continued was a Mother's Day crafts and photos, music at the mansion, the Model T convention. I don't know if you all know, but they contacted us early on and planned to have their cars come up. And I helped with that, and my husband was out there helping. So they would drive up that circle driveway and they would wait so that one car could go up.
I'll give you 2 more minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Then, all right. Then they were photographed in front of the mansion. And then we had Arbor Day tree planting and Victorian Christmas with storytelling with Santa. Okay, next. This isn't working. There, thank you. And these are just some pictures of some of the different events and the children. They're wearing the historic hats that we have there in the mansion. Next. My thing is not working. And some more, that's the Easter egg hunt from, I guess, last year. And then other events that we do with children. And then is there?
It's working.
It's working. It's slow. Okay. And their lemonade stand. And I'm not sure what that picture is, but the staff gave that me to show you. It's a historic picture. But I do know where it's. Anyway, okay, so again, thank you for your continued support of the Fulton Mansion and our endeavors to bring more visitors to Fulton Mansion. We are a major historic site. I think we're the number 2 in total visitors of the Texas Historical Commission sites. The Victorian history as it relates to an early cattle baron and family life. So it gives folks a great deal of history about Fulton and Rockport, because they were developed about the same time and they were interrelated, as I've learned in my training. And participation in family-oriented events and programs. And then we have beautiful grounds that we hope to promote for more weddings and parties and events. So those are some of the things that we're doing. And again, we thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mrs. Hill.
Yeah.
Just one additional thing, in calculating what you, total number of visitors and the 60,000, the visitors only cost $4.46 per person. That's a pretty cheap venue.
Pardon your, sorry, sir.
I say-
repeat that?
I say, if you figure that you had 13,435 visitors and you spent $60,000, that only equates to less than $5 a visitor. That's a pretty good return on the investment for a 1-night stay in a motel.
It is. And that's not our total, that's not our total expenses,
No, I
but
know,
they're
I know,
direct.
but
But
what you
yeah,
said here-
yeah, I agree with you.
It's a good return.
And the cost to get in is very low. It's $7 and then $6 for seniors. So yes. Any other questions? Yes.
If we wanted to get in touch with you, could we get that by calling Fulton Mansion? Because I have
Yes.
some ideas and I don't want to take up
Good.
time here.
Yes, Gus.
Okay,
Yes, you could.
Will do.
And
Thanks
the
very
site
much for
manager
your
too.
support.
Yes.
And
yes.
welcome, Courtney.
Thank you.
Your numbers.
Thank you.
The numbers for attendance music at the mansion.
No. Oh, no, that's only people buying tickets. That's a good, and I'm glad that you asked that, and I'll make sure that I point that out in the future. So no, it doesn't intend to account for all of the children's projects or people for at the mansion or even the Model T, which we had about 100 participants in the Model T convention. They made a donation to pay for a tour, but But yeah, so they didn't buy formal tickets.
So I was
So
saying the attendance number is actually a lot higher.
it's actually a lot higher. Yes, sir, it is. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutterson.
Aye, approved. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Item number 8.
Move to approve the Rockport Cultural Arts District fourth quarter report for 2023.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning, Ms. Day.
Hi, good morning. Jennifer Day, Executive Director of the Rockport Cultural Arts District, 902 East Cornwall. So this is our October to December. We had quite a few landmark events happen during this time. So the numbers here show the Model T event numbers. We had a total of 74 Ford 1925 Ford Model Ts roaming around Rockport Fulton for 4 days during the week, which is really good. Kind of a slower part of the year as far as hotel motel. This also includes the depot visitors. We ended up with a parade on the last day that ended at the Rockport Railroad Depot. It's our little passenger train. It's a lot of fun. It's become quite a signature this past weekend, second Saturday. We now have train stop signs downtown, so people know where they can get on and off, which is kind of cool. Continue the novelty. We did spearhead this event, and as Jane mentioned, we had one day at the Fulton Mansion. We had 2 different drive-bys of elementary schools for all of these Model Ts. We tried to maximize this very unique opportunity. And anyway, it was a great event, brought in a lot of money. The day before the parade, we actually finished that front canopy part of the depot literally that evening before that parade. So we were trying to do a reenactment to some degree of the 1920 photo, the famous photo of the women's rights movement that was taken in front of the depot. We also went above and beyond from the standpoint of our merchants. We got together with the merchants. As you know, we pretty much lead the merchant meetings on a quarterly basis and coordinate second Saturdays. We reached out to our merchants and asked them if they had special discounts that we can offer exclusively to this group that came in, and they did. So that was above and beyond, but we were hoping to get the dollars to come in to the district. And obviously there's other things. They stayed at Jatine's hotels at a discount rate, bought gas, they ate in our restaurants. So there were a lot of different economic development positive impacts from this event. We also officially added the Rockport Tree City USA mural. And this is really, a lot of people didn't know about us being a Tree City USA. We have been for 24 years in Rockport, the city of Rockport. We partnered with that with Aransas First Land Trust and Aransas Pathways at their request. Very appropriate to have those groups be a part of this mural. So this is our 6th mural in the district. We also had second Saturdays each month. And Christmas in the district as well. That was on the December 2nd Saturday. Again, that's a lot of coordination with the downtown groups. Michelle McMahon, who's on our board of directors, started this years ago, and obviously it's a very popular thing. We also work to promote late night shopping in downtown Rockport from November 2nd through December 21st. We got a little bit of a hiccup. Some of the merchants did not stay open like they were supposed to consistently, but we did promote this online and in the paper. We took flyers to teachers. So this was a special time for locals to come in and spend money in our local stores. Again, an economic development initiative. Yep. We also I believe this is the fourth year we did this, the Angel Tree toy collection. So we had these little angels placed in the tree, on the Christmas trees in the different merchant stores. People came in and got an angel, hopefully spent money at the store, and then turned these in, and this benefited the Aransas County foster children. We supported 75 foster children this year. Okay, this was a big landmark event, the cultural event of Cultural Interface Sculptures, unveiled December the 7th. And Judge Garza, again, I appreciate your support with this. Quite an attraction. I don't think you drive by without someone's taking pictures, stopping there to look at it. I will tell you that right now the lighting is going in. I passed the guys this morning, putting in the upward lighting, which will bring a whole nother level of visibility to this at night. And also the granite markers, those are a supply chain issue. They were supposed to be here in January. We had the mock-ups done for the unveiling. But it's quite breathtaking. I think you'll agree. So the last two things that need to be done besides the completion of the lighting is the markers. They are currently targeted for February 15th. And then one of the other things that we're doing, which I think is very signature, is Charlie Belair is putting grasses around the sculpture. And these are grasses that were there when these Europeans came on board in the 1500s. That's the type of grasses that we're putting in. So it's quite signature, again, just to raise the level of the uniqueness of this public art sculptural addition to the cultural district. And that's a picture by John Martell. Okay, Smithsonian Museum on Main Street. So there are 5 core groups. The Cultural Arts District is leading those core groups, but they're all very active participants at the Chamber of Commerce, the History Center, the Fulton Mansion. I'm sorry, not the Fulton Mansion, the Aransas County Historical Society and the Aransas County Historic Commission. Those are the 5 core groups. We are up to adding 12 partners. Texas Maritime, Fulton Mansion, et cetera. There's quite a group that's going to be partnering and having remote locations all the way from Palacios and their Preservation Association with the Luther Hotel and down to San Benito with the Texas Conjunto Music Hall of Fame. They're all going to be partners in the Smithsonian. Just to give you an idea of some numbers that the Texas Historic Commission shared with us, in other states, this event over 6 weeks has brought in 40 to 50,000 people in other states, and we fully expect that to happen. It's also scheduled from January to March, which is a slower time for us. So hopefully that will give us a huge boost to our economy during that time. One other thing just to remind is that we are looking at the county community center building location. I'm watching that closely out the back of my house every day, and just to make sure that it's there. The Texas Historic Commission will be here in Rockport on April the 10th, holding a workshop with all of our partners, but also they're very interested in seeing the status of where that exhibit's going to be. So we're hoping that walls will be up, and we'll see where we are.
You're at April 10th. you said?
April 10th, they'll be here on site as well as all of our partners. Okay, this is just to state that the cultural district grants that were awarded, and I've been working with the city, with Vanessa and the city on the Main Street Park, and City Council did a presentation there. So that's moving along, and hopefully to be complete by August 31st, which is a requirement for the grant. And then the Center for the Arts also got $48,000 for their art festival this year from a cultural district grant. These are all the amenities within our 44 blocks. When you really look at this, it's quite a lot packed into a very small area. But wow, look at the amenities. We got a lot to market here. This is a chart that was shared by the chamber. I continue to have this in my package because we do have so many murals. We now have the cultural interface sculpture. There are a lot of things. We have second Saturdays. We're not out there tracking, stopping and taking zip codes. Physically don't have the bandwidth to do it. I'm a one staff person and just don't have the bandwidth to do it. So I'm looking at these numbers and basically thinking that the majority of these numbers are a part of what we offer. We continue to hold quarterly district merchant meetings. It's really good for all the merchants, those who participate. The majority do, to be on the same mindset within a community as ours. This chart actually should not have been in here. This is I talked to Tracy about removing that. So I apologize for that. Marketing, we continue. Hopefully everyone, I think the last quarter I showed you our last commercial. We have another one in the works. It's that as soon as those markers get on the cultural interface sculpture, it will be in that commercial. We'll wrap that up and get that out. We're also working on a couple of other visual videos that support our area to promote it. This is our financial statement from Johnson and Creekmore. Nick Johnson is our treasurer. And if there's any questions there. And last but not least, thank you from the Rockport Cultural Arts District Board of Directors. Questions?
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yep.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
and Judge Gottesall.
Aye, passes 5 yeas, 0 nays. Item number 9.
Move to approve a program to hand out Narcan to inmates upon their release. This endeavor is a joint effort between Sheriff Mills, Aransas County Detention Jail staff, Judge Diana McGinnis, Justice of the Peace number 2, and Patricia Arnold with ACMI. Cost is budget neutral.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Come on up. Morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Patricia Arnold with the Aransas County Medical Services Executive Director. And my team that we've been collaborating together. And so we have a small presentation for you. This is the Aransas County Harm Reduction Program that we've worked together throughout the year. There's a couple of short videos in here.
The drug landscape has changed. Illegal fentanyl has made its way into the drug supply. And it's a danger you might not see coming. A synthetic opioid up to 50 times stronger than heroin, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. It only takes the tiniest amount to cause a fatal overdose. A fraction of a raindrop, or 3 grains of salt. Your drugs don't come with an ingredients list. Although fentanyl is being mixed into almost every kind of drug, you wouldn't be able to see it, or smell it, or taste it. Fentanyl is one of the most common drugs involved in overdose deaths. Know the dangers. Learn the facts about fentanyl and ways to protect yourself at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
Thank you, Colin. Can you advance forward? Okay. That's a CDC is putting that out for the fentanyl. This was the resolution that you signed in the 27th day of February 2023. So we're almost a year into this program, the opioid abatement funds from Aransas County, Judge Garza, and that this was passed by the commissioners February 27th, 2023, just to help in Aransas County and benefit the overall health, safety, and welfare of our citizens. So we began last year, and we started collaborating in March. In March was our first meeting together with the sheriff and Diana McGinnis. These are, I know it's a lot on this slide, but under the Texas opioid abatement, you had to choose some strategies from Schedule B in order to comply with the grant. And so we've met the majority of the 12 that's on this list. So we started with our prevention programs. We started training the schools in our community with Narcan. We've increased the distribution of Narcan as well. We're providing it to first responders, healthcare providers. We are discussing, the incarcerated population and prevention programs. So a lot of those different items that are required through the Texas opioid abatement that you signed. So our leadership planning and coordination started with myself and Honorable Diana McGinnis and Sheriff Mills. Our meetings began in March 14th of 2023. We worked with the Rockport Police Department, the Aransas County SO, in establishing the protocols and the training for Narcan. So all of our officers and our police officers are currently carrying Narcan. On April 11th, we did some training with the Good Samaritans, a CPR and Narcan training. April 20th, we did all 3 volunteer fire departments at the same time. There was some EMS and Aransas County Sheriff's Department as well in there. American Heart Association, which I'm an instructor under, we added the Narcan training to first aid classes. We taught CPR and first aid to area businesses and churches. June 7th, we did the kid care classes and babysitter classes, which we taught the CPR and first aid, which also uses the Narcan in the first aid classes, as well as camp counselors. August 3rd and 9th, we brought training to the Rockport Fulton ISD. The Rockport Fulton ISD is now carrying Narcan and is placing that strategically throughout the school district. So Narcan is on every single campus as well. Diana McGinnis is working with she's supplied juvenile assistance in the systems programs through school programs for each campus, helping families and referrals to Coastal Bend Wellness Foundation, and recovery as possible. Participating in the recovery as possible from the Coastal Bend Wellness Foundation, we set up a table at their event, and then working with Lieutenant Patterson with the Sheriff's Department, EOC Mike Gear, he's in the audience today, along with TDM, to bring more Narcan to the police departments and the Sheriff's Department. James Wilson with the Rockport Fulton ISD, they're able to get the Narcan through the state program with our EOC and TDM signing those documents to get the Narcan here, and we're able to get it within a couple of days. And so we have several people that are carrying that. We continue with the community CPR first aid and includes Narcan, drug overdoses, poison control information, magnets. So we're getting that out to the general public as well. So we covered a lot within that year. And every item that's required for the resolution that you signed. So the overdoses have become a leading cause of unintentional death in our county. So we're noticing that it's coming over the border. It's within our community. We're having overdoses where fentanyl is being placed in several different things. What the CDC and the DEA and SAMHSA are saying is that basically it's become an epidemic for our generation, and that it's believed that our generation will be the first to have a shorter lifespan as a result of the fentanyl.
Patricia,
Yes, ma'am.
before you leave that screen, the slide says leading cause of unintentional deaths in our country, but you said county. So which is it, county or country?
Sorry, it's country. I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay.
I apologize. Going
That
a
was
little
very
too fast. Let me slow down just a little bit.
Okay.
In our country, yes. But it has superseded motor vehicle accidents. We're hoping that it doesn't, strokes and heart attacks are still at our highest. However, if this is, getting up there, we need to do our part to see what we can do to help prevent what's happening. So fentanyl works on the opioids only. So if you're administering Narcan, these are some of the main items that it will work on, only on opioids. It will not work on anything else. It is safe to use. You can use it with children. You can use it over and over again if you needed to. And so I just wanted to show you some of these items here. This slide here should show you that in the little bottle here, we're having some what they call car fentanyl. It's illegally made fentanyl. It's called car fentanyl that's coming across our border. And it is actually mixed with animal tranquilizers, which is making it very, very potent and very lethal. So the Narcan that's being carried by individuals, they want them to carry at least 2 because you need the Narcan to outlast the opioid. So a lot of times, you need more than just what you have in your bag, but it's coming in different forms. They have it in powdered form. So they're actually mixing it with heroin, cocaine, methamphetamines. They're actually getting very, very selective with some of their things. They have the pill form, liquid form, but it doesn't matter what form it is. It's still very extremely dangerous and very lethal. Colin, can you help me?
Narcan nasal spray is an emergency treatment designed to rapidly reverse the effects of a life-threatening opioid emergency. If you suspect an opioid overdose, check to see if the person will not wake up, is very sleepy, or is not breathing well. Do not test the nasal spray device before use. Narcan nasal spray is for use in the nose only and is safe to use even if opioids are not present. Hold the nasal spray device with your thumb on the bottom of the plunger. Insert the nozzle into either nostril and press the plunger firmly to give the dose. One nasal spray device contains 1 dose of medicine. Call 911 immediately after giving Narcan nasal spray. If the person does not wake up, continue to give doses every 2 to 3 minutes until the person wakes up. It is safe to keep giving doses. Stay until an ambulance arrives, even if the person wakes up. You have the power to save a life. For more information, visit Narcan.com.
This is the Narcan that you have in front of you. So it's been a really busy year. Okay, thank you. It's been a very busy year for us, getting up to this point. And now we've talked to other communities, other states, what are the programs that they've rolled out with the Narcan. One of those programs is actually rolling it into the jail. So we actually have taught the jail staff and how to use Narcan as well. So on February 14th of 2024, we want to roll out at 1 p.m. the Feel the Love campaign. This is by beginning to identify those that are incarcerated for opioid-related incidences. We want to issue Narcan kit and training prior to their release. What we're noticing is that they're in jail for a certain amount of time. They've been detoxing basically while they're in jail. And when they get out, they go back to using the exact same amount that they were using prior to that, which leads up to an overdose. So getting Narcan in the home or getting Narcan to them, along with information inside the Narcan kit that shows that recovery is possible. There's phone numbers for Costa Bend Wellness Foundation, the Lifeline Suicide and Crisis, along with other Texas Behavioral And then our phone numbers and information on that. But we're also getting that into the home where we know that narcotics are, or opioids are, so that if a child gets a hold of it or something like that, then they have Narcan there inside the home. And that we think will, getting it in the hands of the community, which is part of the section, the Schedule B of the requirement for the. So resources for recovery, and then we also want to provide televised education, health and wellness, anger management, mental health, and how to use Narcan. Do you want to talk about that? Mm-hmm.
So far, we have probably provided maybe 10 different videos to the jail. The sheriff was able to control all of the TVs. So we will start doing that daily, probably be on like a rotation type deal. We're also going to be doing the GEDs, CPRs, the theft 101s, anxiety, anger management, depression. Any educational program that we can think of, we're going to try to start submitting so that it can be viewed to all the inmates.
So this is what you have in front of you. It has 2 Narcan in each one of them. This is a Narcan quick start guide. It has the information on how to use it. There's some pictures once you unfold that. But these are part of our meetings to address the barriers and what resources that we can provide in the home so that if somebody else got a hold of it, education and awareness about recovery is possible. This is a free drug disposal medication collection site. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's at 811 East Concho in front of the Aransas County Jail. It is free to bring and, for the public to bring any unused medication, including opioids, and drop them off at this location. It's right in front of the jail. If you've never been there, you can dispose of any prescription medications or any, except for they don't like to have liquids in there. It's kind of hard to clean. But you can drop off those medications there. It would be nice to have a few more of those around the county, but somebody has to keep an eye on those. And then let's see here. That's really about it. I've taken up enough of your time. These are our phone numbers. You can get a hold of us. You can contact me at the 512-290-3036, or most of you have my cell number. We have been busy all year leading up to this. So do you have any questions for us? Sheriff, do you have anything?
I have an observation and thank you for giving us this presentation because I remember when we signed that resolution a year ago. But I have heard from a few constituents when this agenda went out and the packet information, that this seems to support almost an approval for the continued use of drugs. So I just want to mention that to you as an observation from a few folks in the community. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to give them something. And as you mentioned, in case there are children, or other folks in the home who might unknowingly ingest some of this drug, that it would be something to help those innocent people. But the fact that we are issuing them to people that we know have a previous drug dependency, that this might be perceived as we're saying, okay, we know you're going to use drugs, and so this will help you if you use too high of a dose. Just wanted to mention that I have heard that feedback. Okay.
I would only want to comment that we're not just handing them the packet as they leave. There's an educational counseling part tied to this. And I think that's very crucial to this whole endeavor. The opioid deal has grown to where it impacts all of them. I went and filled a prescription for my wife a year ago. And the pharmacy suggested that I get Narcan for the house because of what was being dispensed. This is an endeavor to try to at least address the base that we know has a problem. And it's through The education program that we've got an educational channel, TVs in the jail where we're pushing out a counseling deal. It's not just how to use it, but an awareness of where this all started. And there's counseling services on that when the QR code resources for them to reach out to, and in hopes that, they'll realize this is a dead end street for them.
Right. And I'm very glad to hear about the educational videos that will be shown previous to the release. I think that's tremendous. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. It's, and an answer to that is that, I also feel the same way at points. When, New Mexico was giving out new needles to people, I thought, why are they giving out, clean needles to people, that we know that are going to be using? But when you hindsight looking at it, it eliminated them. It slowed the AIDS, number one. Slowed hepatitis. It actually slowed admissions into the hospital, calling EMS. And so actually using Narcan in your first aid kit can help prevent, calling an ambulance all the time, or actually even ended up in the emergency room. But one of the best things that we can do is actually prevent the children from getting a hold of things. So I completely agree with that statement. However, we have to do something to combat what's happening in our community and throughout the United States.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you. Any further questions? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Hi,
Judge Goddardson.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 10.
I move to discuss Aransas County courts participating in the 2024 Texas Warrant Roundup with amnesty period dates from February 19th, 2024 to March 1st, 2024. And warrant roundup dates from March 2nd, 2024 to March 15th, 2024.
I'll second that.
We got a motion. We got a second. That this is only a discussion. We're not taking action. Correct, Judge?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And just informing Commissioners Court that the JP's courts are going to be participating in the statewide roundup for Texas for the last 2 weeks. We have had clerks focusing on this roundup. As of today, our clerks have reviewed more than 8,000 warrants. These are Class C warrants that we are reviewed. Notifications are going to be sent out to defendants beginning today. On February 15th, the JP courts, along with the Aransas County Sheriff's Office, will join Corpus Christi Municipal Court for a joint press release. Mobile signs will be placed around the city to inform the public of this roundup. There will be an amnesty period from February 19th through March 1st. The roundup will commence March 2nd through March 15th. Our courts, along with the clerks, will be working on the weekends during this roundup. These warrants total approximately $2 million. These are just Class C warrants. Questions?
I saw one of the clerks this morning with a mail container. And when you say this was in the attachment, we're planning on mailing out about 25,000 postcards, and the collection agency will do a sweep and mail 25,000 notices. Are those going to the same people, or those are two separate 25,000 populations?
No, the 25,000, I think the copy that I gave you was part of municipal court in Corpus Christi.
Right.
And yes, it is going to the different, we may have a different address than what the collection agency
Okay.
does.
Thank you.
So we're just trying to notify everybody.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Item number 11.
Move to approve resolution R 01-2024. Resolution declaring local state of disaster for Aransas County as a result of border crisis and illegal border crossings.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning, Mr. Gear, Sheriff Mills.
And I'll hand this over to Sheriff Mills pretty quickly, but my role in this as the EFC was to facilitate the request to be added to the governor's declaration. In June of 2023, Commissioners Court resolved to support the governor's declaration, but we didn't officially pass we didn't officially request to be named as a county. So it was brought to my attention by the auditor's office that there are grants available. This could open up a stream of Narcan coming into the county where we're not having to wait on one particular allotment from Tatum. We may have other options going forward, but Sheriff can probably add a lot more to this.
So this kind of housekeeping to an issue that y'all addressed, like I said, last June. We had applied to participate in Operation Lone Star, which is a state-funded interdiction program with activities, 2 going north, 2 going south. While we participate today, we don't have funding from the Operation Lone Star. We're doing it under our Stone Garden interdiction funding. But we can only participate with other agencies in counties that are Stone Garden funded, which creates a little roadblock in some places. What is different about the Operation Lone Star that we're applying for, that this resolution supports, is that for the first time in 15 years, we see a coordinated effort by counties and cities that will have operations in designated areas, and we will share resources. We'll send officers or they'll send them to us. And we've had people here from Goliad and Cuero and assisting in a couple of them that we've had here, where instead of having 1 or 2 officers on the road trying to do interdiction, we will flood an area with 12, 15, 20 officers and dogs and LPR units and have quite an impact where you'll see the motoring traffic stop and slow down and reroute to other areas. But they're keeping very good statistics on the stops, the arrest, the detentions that are made for illegals. And I think in 15 years, this is the one program or the effort that's going forward with a bunch of sheriffs. It's a coalition of sheriffs that basically runs from here towards San Antonio, about 3 or 4 counties wide. I think the number is 26 or 28 people. This is needed, though, to open up the funding to where we can qualify for the Lone Star grant to facilitate that and help us better.
Sheriff, on the second page of this resolution on item number 2, it says the state of disaster shall continue for a period of not more than 7 days from the date of the declaration unless renewed by the county judge or continued by Commissioner's Court. How are we going to address that part?
That was a question I had as well, but Mike said it was the wording that was required with the state, and I don't know if it just, I don't think it requires a renewal to participate, but it's good for 7 days from the date y'all sign it so we can push it through to Austin. What we didn't do before was didn't go up through Tatum. While we signed the resolution and forwarded it on, it didn't go through the proper channels, and that's where Mike here and emergency management is coming into play to get this paperwork done properly, so we'll be recognized as a participating agency or county.
Can we, since this is in here, that kind of locks our hands to that date period, can we give the judge the authority to continue it?
Yes, that's exactly right. The motion can be made to give the judge the authority to just sign it and continue it for a specified period of time.
I think that's what happened on some of the after Harvey stuff. We had to continue renew
every week.
Yes, sir. And that's what I was going to add. This would be similar to what we did with Harvey, where we just renewed, the judge had the authority to renew weekly.
We'll do that.
I have a concern, though, on what you said, that this would allow us to, instead of just having a couple of officers, we could flood the area. We only have so many officers. And if we are flooding the area and maybe helping other counties, which that's good to have in our county cooperation, what about what's going on in our county? Where will the officers be to take care of things here?
This is, when I refer to flooding it, Commissioner, it's all the counties participate and we'll send 1, maybe 2. We only send 1. But instead of DeWitt County or Live Oak having their 2 interdiction officers, they'll get 1 from Beeville and 1 from San Pat and 1 from us. And that operation is declared on that day. It'll be a concerted, coordinated effort with all these interdiction people participating in a targeted location, and we'll watch the traffic change and patterns. We've discussed having 2 of them jointly on the same day because we've seen the traffic reroute to a neighboring county or other county roads. And so we would like to start probably a second one 4 hours later and see what happens to the traffic. But there's too many of them going through for any local agency or organization to handle it on their own and think that you're gonna make a big dent with one officer out there. But it allows us to, through the information and intelligence that we've gathered with DPS, to designate areas and strategic times. The flooding is through the cooperative effort, and that's why I think this is a better program than what we've
Wouldn't
done.
be taking a lot of our.
No, ma'am. Nobody's given it, and you don't have to participate in any or all of them. You can go your own on the Lone Star funding and do your own interdiction. But if you're looking for help on these, we sat on a corridor going to Houston. If you're not on 57 and 77 to 59, 35 is going to be the route of choice. It's going through here, and we just need the help to address it. While we're helping others, we will receive help as well when we have the operations here.
Thank you.
Can we also request that the sheriff give us some sort of idea of nothing that's not available for public, but the success of it, say monthly or quarterly or something like that?
Every operation ends with a review, and all the stats are accumulated, and I can bring those anytime we participate, wherever we're at.
I don't want to give you a lot more paperwork to do,
It's
but
it's paperwork done.
this is something that I think that public needs to know that this is not just our problem, it's everybody's problem. And we need to go, help as best we can.
Will do.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goodison.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 12.
Move to approve resolution R 02-2024, a resolution for FY 2023 Homeland Security Operations Stone Garden.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Madam Auditor, were you gonna speak on? Tana, all right.
This is just our routine annual. We renew this grant every year, apply for it and receive funding. So this is the resolution that will start the new grant year for March 1st.
There's a note in there, the second item, that the county agrees to provide applicable matching funds for the said project. What's an estimate of the matching funds that we provided?
We don't provide matching funds for Stone Garden. They just require.
Why is that in the
language.
resolution?
Because they require that in the language. Some grants have match funding, but Stone Garden does not. It's a blanket resolution for all of the grants that go through the OOG's office.
All right, we'll make a note of that. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goodison.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 13.
I move to approve resolution R 03-2024, a resolution to select Tiger Fields Legacy to provide sports complex management services for Tiger Field Athletic Complex.
I got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
I have one question. The agenda item that says management, what's the difference in that and just leasing the field for the?
Eric, can you answer that at the podium?
The lease is
Can you come to the microphone, please, Eric?
hello. The lease will be the contract for it, and they're going to provide the service of management for the facility.
What's the term of the contract?
I don't have it in front of me. I believe it's a 3-year with 2 1-year optional renewals with their request and your confirmation.
So when do you
Or
think you
approval.
might have the lease ready where we could read through it?
I can have that to you this week.
Could be on our next meeting. I wanted to give a little background. So the Commissioners Court approved an RFP I don't have the date, a couple of months ago. At the end of that RFP, we had 3 submittals. One submittal didn't meet all the requirements of the RFP. The other 2 were the city of Rockport and Tiger Field Legacy. There were 4 of us grading both submittals and they both got the same grade. They were both really good submittals. And I am proposing to initiate an initiative aimed at enhancing the management and overall impact of our beloved Tiger Field. I strongly recommend considering a partnership with Tiger Field Legacy because they are a nonprofit organization. And, nonprofit organizations driven by their commitment to the community often bring a unique perspective and passion for public service. By allowing Tiger Field Legacy to take over the management of Tiger Field, we can leverage their dedication to fostering community engagement, promoting sportsmanship, and creating inclusive recreational opportunities. And during their submittal, they are open to working with all programs. That includes Little League, I believe kickball, we're going to have an adult league, or they're going to have an adult league. And I know we have someone that wants to talk. Jessica, you signed up to talk. Would you like to come up? Just state your name and your address.
My name is Jessica Poppy. I live at 109 Spanish Bush Drive in Rockport. I'm actually on the city side of it, of taking over Tiger Field to, sorry, let me get my notes out. So obviously Tiger Field area would need a lot of high maintenance right now. A lot of upgrades, a lot of fixing up for safety reasons and whatnot. And I do feel the city would actually have that staff to do so. There's having the city take over, it'll create more recreational opportunities for the kids and the leagues in the community. So right now at Memorial Park, we do Little League. So I'm on behalf of Rockport Point Little League. We have the fields that we rent out from the city. The soccer league rents out the fields from the city during their season. But taking over Tiger Field, we can do multiple recreational leagues, including the basketball, including Rockport Fulton Youth Football League. They're a large and growing league with lots of volunteers, lots of kids, and they're always lacking practice areas. Basketball, softball even, baseball, we're always under the thumb of like the school districts or the school grounds, should I say, of where we can or when we can practice or host games. So having the Tiger Field as a multi-recreational ground to supply that for all the kids, for all the recreational leagues. I've been involved in the past in some of, I guess, adult recreational sports, and they were good. They brought a lot of team sportsmanship and everything to the community for the adults and the kids watching, and it was great, but it wasn't, the longevity of it wasn't there. It might have lasted, a couple of years here and there, in and out, but I think having something that's longer term that the city can support and maintain for the kids in the community. So just example, Little League alone, we bring in over 420 players just in our one small season. And we rent the fields. We have a lot of surrounding towns that come in to play, see the facility, and it does bring revenue to the city for it. And having multi-recreational leagues in an area to basketball, soccer, football, baseball, whatever it may be, that's even more revenue in different areas for the city to bring in or bring to our city. So I just think there's a lot of focus in our city or our town with the schools and with our tourists and providing that large recreational area that we could prospectively make at Tiger Field. It would speak volume, I think, in our community, saying that we are paying a little bit more attention to the kids that are already here, not just the kids in the school district, but you have kids, in the school district, we have kids that are homeschooled or just live in the nearby areas that don't have that opportunity. So I'm kind of in for the city to be able to take over and create a good recreational area for the kids in our community and for those leagues.
Thank you.
Oh, that you were behind me.
Oh,
Yeah. Sneak up behind you.
Are
thank
we,
you.
are we going to, charge any kind of fee or anything in this lease or
No,
dollar a
sir.
year or whatever it is?
No, sir.
Okay.
That's not in that wasn't in the RFP, was it, Eric?
And we're not gonna incur any costs.
We're not gonna
Be
incur any,
eliminating costs.
we're gonna be responsible for the maintenance of the building. But I believe I'll let Jesse, would you like to speak? Oh, sorry.
Well, Eric is up there.
Yeah, we weren't charging.
The two responses that were qualified, Tiger Field Legacy, was their lease offer was $10 a month.
Oh, that's right.
And the city of Rockport's offer was an in-kind. So there was no money changing hands. It was just them taking care of the facility.
When you say take care of the facility, what do you mean? Compared to
They
what-
were
what-
responsible for upkeep of the grounds. They were responsible for the buildings, utilities,
So you said they're gonna be.
insurance.
They were gonna be responsible for the buildings?
Yes.
So with this, going with this other group, which I'm sure have good intentions, are we gonna be responsible for the buildings or are they?
In the request for proposal, they would be responsible for the buildings. I am not aware, and I haven't seen anything where the county is responsible for that.
Okay, I want to just be clear on that. We wouldn't, goes back to the other commissioner's
Right.
question.
I believe,
I think the judge, Commissioner Russo and myself were at the bid opening, and I don't recall seeing that the county is responsible for the buildings.
I think the maintenance, like if the water heater goes out, the county, if toilet gets broken, we're gonna go and fix it. That's like the major, but cleaning and actually maintaining the day-to-day, that's not gonna be the county.
Correct.
And the county does, there are certain areas, the county does mow the grass around. Around.
Correct.
And whatever organization will be responsible for inside the field.
Okay, who's paying for the insurance?
Tiger Field Legacy, if they're selected, or
Yeah, because. you
City of
know,
Rockport, if they're selected.
Under state law, we're really limited, you have to do almost a quid pro quo on any expenses that the city or the county is out, even with the city or any other nonprofit. There are certain things that if we were not using that, we would not be paying on it. If it's something that we would be paying on it, whether we're using it or not, I think that's eligible for the county to do. But if we're insuring against people getting hurt or anything like that, because of participation, that has to be done by the participant, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right, isn't it, Jackie? Yeah, I just want to be real clear about that. Make sure that there's a clear delineation between
There is.
what the county can pay and what the county cannot pay. And it's nothing against the organization. I'd like to see either the city or y'all get it. But we got to be very careful about that. We can, the
Mr.
city,
Torres?
we can do this.
I also have a question though.
Well, let me finish. The city can do quid pro quo, but I don't think organizations can.
Okay.
The statement about the scores were the same. Is that correct?
The final four scores, when they were tallied, they are the same.
It's a surprise. Thank you.
Mr. Torres? Say your name, address, and your position.
I'm Jesse Torres Jr. My address is 420 Weeping Willow in Rockport. I am the president of Tiger Field Legacy. So just a little background, Tiger Field Legacy was only created for the possibility of maintaining this field for this RFP. I wanted to be clear with our intentions. We absolutely will work with Little League. Little League already has a facility. We have a lot of people that can't use the park, they can't use the ball field during Little League season. Our intent is to be able to support adult, youth, everything. We've talked to the Youth Football League. We have some people on the board in Little League that are working with us as well. But I was born and raised in Rockport. I highly go back to everything that I have in my career, and I attribute what started at Tiger Field for me. And I want to pretty much give everybody else the opportunity to have the same success I did. And if that means making the field available to somebody that wouldn't be at Little League or anywhere else, I mean, we've got basketball fields there. We've got softball fields. Right now, it's only catered to younger adults. So like if big people want to play, the field on the left side is horrible. We are more than prepared to maintain everything we need to. We've had many meetings. We've discussed what it's going to take to make this field playable, and completely with volunteers and our money that we raise through the community. No county funds or anything will be put to the Tiger Field. It's completely our burden, and we understand the insurance, we understand the utilities. We've gone through all of that, and we are more than prepared to take that responsibility.
So I guess a couple of questions or comments. One, it sounds like basically what your group is a chartered 501.
Correct.
And what you're doing would actually take, I want to say, expenses, would divert them from taxpayers to your group operating expenses.
Yeah, from funding from like organizations, we have a big decorated group that's with us. You know, we've got professional relationships, and we've already reached out for donations if this follows through. So we're very comfortable with the funding that we're going to get through donations, and not necessarily from taxpayers or funds from the county, just from what we raise through hard work.
Okay. Is there a point in time where you think you would approach the county or someone for hot funds or some way, some kind of venue funds?
I mean, if that was necessary, but that's not our intent right now. I think we can completely manage this ourselves.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of support. And so like, I know I agree with Jessica with having to have another field. So I mean, one of our intents is to make sure that Little League has fields to practice. There's so many kids and they're restricted. And right now the Tiger Field in the last couple of years has really gone downhill, and it's heartbreaking to me personally. So we have a passion in making sure that it's available for use for everybody in the community.
What I would say impressed me in the RFP reviews was the strength of the volunteers that you have
Yes.
and what they've already done and given back to this community in many organizations to support the kids, to support education, to support project graduation.
Yep.
You've already been doing things that show your passion for this community. And although I realize the city is a good steward for Memorial Park, I just have to salute the fact that you all are following, I think, what was maybe the initial group of parents who took over Tiger Field
Correct.
4 or 5 decades ago and really made it into a stellar place.
Yeah, that's why we have the name Tiger Field Legacy, because we felt, that's deep to our heart. So.
Yes.
That's where he grew up.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, so a lot of these involved with Tiger Field Legacy volunteers, I was approached by during Project Graduation for a kickball tournament. It took 1 week for these volunteers to organize it all, and we had a very successful event. Raised $2,500 or $3,500, I can't remember, but very successful. Same people involved.
So, and that's what the intent is, right, for everybody to have a place to be able to do things like that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gene, would you like to comment?
Sure. Gene Camargo, City of Rockport Parks Director. Appreciate the opportunity to respond. It was a tie score. We're very much appreciative of Tiger Legacy's volunteers, but you just heard Fulton Mansion say volunteers, and with all due respect, we have paid staff. Okay, when I'm going to give an example, Jessica spoke about Little League. We'll be out the morning of Little League parking cars, making bathroom stops continuously, making sure things go right. And what I do think the city does bring to it is balancing interests. Okay, Memorial Park, we have disc golf, soccer, baseball, trail running, people trying to train dogs. Okay, that capacity as an organization to manage and juggle those interests within the city lies in us. And it goes back to scheduling and programming. And I'd like to also point the young lady, Brittany Elkins here, Assistant Parks Director, event planning. Okay. She takes care of all the minuscule stuff that no one ever sees as an event goes down or whatever. the audio and making sure, and we believe, we have a, our constituents are your constituents. Okay? Our events, we hold an Easter egg hunt on baseball fields. We don't say, are you city of Rockport, are you county? Everyone participates. We have that ability to be inclusive. He spoke about basketball courts. Basketball court needs improvement. No one uses it. There's pickleball courts there. No one uses it. And I have a feeling that it has to speak to past maintenance and some things. We are dedicated. We have regular daily routines of our parks that go through it every day. Even when baseball season isn't there, we're going through those parks every day, maintaining trash receptacles and the simple stuff of safety inspections and other things. The city has the ability to pull from staff, not only park staff to host these events, but we also have city staff. When we have a parks event, I can reach down into water, sewer and other entities and pull staff to make sure the events are successful. Equipment. Not only do we have 9 mowers and dedicated people who own mowers and a maintenance shop for those mowers, we also have the ability to find a backhoe, find different other equipment, heavier equipment, or do it. So we appreciate it, and we wanted to show our interest in management at Tiger Field. And in our proposal, we also guarantee that we would work to make sure the existing activities at Tiger Field are kept and incorporated into the scheduling and use of Tiger Field. So we see it as a win-win. I understand your favor for Tiger Legacy, and they are from here, but we're all encompassing and willing to work with others as far as the use of Tiger Field. So since it was a tie score, I would hope you would give it some further consideration. The RFP is more stated towards a dollar amount. And I think the city would gladly match the $10 a month if we were given the agreement. So
For those that don't know, I've worked quite a bit with Parks Department over the years and some of the electrical maintenance and that sort of thing. They do a very, very good job keeping their stuff up. We have some of the best parks around. I'm more in favor of, since it's a tie score, of the Parks Department, because they don't have to continually look to volunteers and stuff. Now, Tiger Legacy sounds like it's very organized and everything, and I'm not against them by any means, but the city is I have worked for a long time to try to get the city more involved in the county business as far as participating. The city, up until this recent leadership, has never really been in favor of that, the big jobs and things like that. But whenever Mr. Camacho came on and Ms. Huggins came on as city manager and as park director, that changed. There was a physical change in the department. They have the insurance, they have the ability to take care of the lights, they have everything that's needed to make that facility a successful facility, as they have with Memorial Park and look at Heritage Park and all of that they do, and they all do a great job. And I for one, I was not on that committee, but if it was equal, I would have gone with the city. And I'm not against Tiger Heritage by any means, but our Tiger Legacy. But the city does a good job, and long-term commitment, and the city doesn't deal on volunteers or anything else. It just deals on the park director and the city manager, and I highly recommend this organization because of those two people that are on, and of course the city council as well.
And I'd also like to speak. We make a powerful grant application. If you align the city and the county's interest in applying for grant applications, that's a strong application for a grant. And we have staff that can monitor those grants and have the ability, as I'm sure the county does. Right. And I would just like to say, you bring out a very important point. We work very well with the Aransas Pathways and the pool to provide other opportunities of recreation and management for the citizens of Aransas County, which we put first, and also outside interests that come into the community.
Question. From what you're saying, the city can do everything with their in-house staff, no additional staff.
At this time, yes. We added to our mowing routine, we're already patrolling Memorial. We have to go by Tiger to go to Aransas Pathways, and we do those things twice daily.
How many grants have you gotten so far in the past year?
We
For
just
your
got the
tree
tree a grant for 12,000 here recently.
Oh.
And I've been in the department 9 months. so-
Oh, okay. You mentioned grants. I was just gonna see what's
Yeah,
your list of
we just
grants.
Got
that-
the Tree Foundation grant for.
Okay.
12,000.
I guess the
City.
question I had though was, you did say that'll be part of your team, hey, you come by and maintain the facility and
Yes,
check
sir.
it out just like you would
Yes, sir, just as our parks.
any park
It's
facility.
right across the street.
Now, if the Commissioners Court decided to go with the city, y'all could work hand in hand with Tiger Legacy and actually get bang for our buck two ways.
Yeah, this definitely doesn't have to be an all or nothing deal. I would gladly sit down to discuss that agreement or lease agreement and incorporating that, how that would work in fact, the contract. And that's how we handle Little League with the contract. A contract with Tiger Legacy for their playing dates and everything else. I think what's very key also is he talked about other interests wanting to use Tiger Field. When Little League is not there, those fields are public fields and people get to come practice. And that's a big part of what we do is some policing of these facilities to make sure that they're available to more than just one group. You know, it is public access. These are public spaces. And we think we do a good job at that.
And if the city or if the Commissioners Court decided to go with the city, would the city cause Legacy any financial burden in contracting with y'all rather than with the county?
Little
gonna-
League does pay a fee.
Are you gonna rent the fields?
Little League does pay for renting those fields. Those costs are very, very reasonable. We can discuss that in an agreement.
Right.
Because I'm sure the county has interest to make sure that that's, so we could discuss what that fee schedule would be.
Would you call the question?
Yeah, I just want to point out one more. Tiger Field Legacy is going to be driven by volunteers using sweat equity. Your staff is still taxpayer money. And that's the last point I want to make. All right, call to question. Oh, okay.
Hi, Shelley Steckler. As a member of the Rockport Parks and Leisure Board, I would like you to consider allocating this RFP to the city of Rockport. So you guys are only discussing currently the baseball leagues, but there's also soccer leagues and many other leagues that could be utilizing Tiger Field if it was maintained on a daily basis. Lindsay is not here, but she's huge into the soccer. And currently the city park is not big enough to take on all of the children wanting to play soccer, all of the children wanting to play the additional baseball, and so many other things. The park is full. And by the city being able to take on Tiger Field, we are not only going to be servicing just baseball, we're going to be servicing soccer and many, many other utilizations of this park. And so to me, just with excuse me, I'm getting a little nervous. Just with Legacy taking it over, they're only going to essentially be focused on their own group. Whereas if the city took it over, we are going to be servicing the community. And you want to talk about costing the taxpayers money. If the city were to have to expand our park system, that would be a huge tax burden on the citizens if they were to solely take over Tiger Field. And in time, we could get grants. I've helped the city get many grants already. I've helped the county with some grants. And so there's grant opportunity out there where we can improve the fields. The bathrooms are in terrible condition. They need to be improved. And I cannot imagine Legacy going out there and plunging toilets and fixing broken toilets. All of this, the city has money to do and to manage and to take care of. And therefore, I think the city would be the best option. Like I said, I'm on Parks and Leisure Board, and we do need a bigger facility, and that is going to serve the entire community, not just a single group. Also, I'm a volunteer. I'm on many boards, and let me tell you, volunteers, we get tired. I was a volunteer for Pathways for many years. Now Pathways struggles and struggles and struggles to get volunteers. So finally, they had to get paid staffing. So that is going to be the same thing with Legacy, and 3 years is a very, very long commitment for volunteers. I would like you to highly reconsider the city. The city works with all different entities, and I think they would be more than willing to work with Legacy and make this a win-win for the community. Tiger Field has been managed by volunteer groups for years, and it has looked in not the best state. And I feel that if the city managed it, we could make it look beautiful, just like the current park does, Memorial Park. So that's all I got to say on that.
Mr. Torres, you seem to be portrayed as only being interested in baseball. Would you please speak to that? Because your RFP showed otherwise.
Nobody got to see the RFP, I guess, because that's not our intent. It's just one sport. We want to provide as much as we can. We talked about pickleball. That basketball court is very dated. So like, I'm sure you guys saw in the RFP, one of our main things we want to do is put a canopy up, make it a little safer, keep it out of the sun, fix it up. We've got a lot of plans. And we own heavy equipment. I have backhoes, I have zero turns, I have everything I own it. Our intent is to use that. We have access to backhoes, everything that we would need, we have. We wouldn't have to ask anybody for help. We have that ourselves. And we've maintained this field before historically. We all played at Tiger Field as adults, as kids. The field once was very beautiful when it was managed correctly, and it has gone downhill. That's why we want to do what we need to. And Little League does have a lot of people, and that's really our concern is during Little League season, it's very occupied. There's nobody else that can do anything in the spring when baseball season is happening at Little League out there at the Memorial Park, right? So we have Tiger Field. Our intent, I'm sure you guys read our RFP, is to make the field playable first, and then in the fall, when it's not ball season, that's when we're going to hit it heavy. We don't need it manicured right now. We need it playable so that way kids can practice and play.
Right. The rest of the folks in the court have not seen the RFP. That's why I wanted you to.
Yeah, so we have plumbers, we have electricians, licensed electricians, we have inspectors, we have welders, we have carpentry people, we have masonry guys. We are skilled craftsmen. We can plumb toilets, we can fix them, we can do everything. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, call to question.
So the
I'm sorry.
motion is to approve the resolution to select Tiger Field Legacy, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, I would like to amend that, make a sub motion to approve the city to
I
handle
think
the
you have to
complex.
vote down.
We have to vote the
This
first
one
one.
Commissioner Cheney,
We're voting on the first
Tiger Field
motion.
Legacy, yes, sir.
Nay.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Nay.
and Judge Garza.
Aye. Tiger Field Legacy gets it on a vote of 3-2. Thank you. And thank you, City of Rockport. Thank you. I am going to take a short break. We've been here quite a while. So we'll be back in 7 minutes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call us back into session. Item number 14.
To approve resolution R-04 2024, a resolution for the Juvenile Justice and Truancy Grant Program in Aransas County.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and we've got a second. Judge McGinnis? Morning,
Good
Judge.
morning. So last year I came requesting the grant for 2023-2024, which was approved. The state approved the grant. So this is a continuation of the grant that I told you that I would be applying for again. So this is so far, so good. It's working.
And how much money have we received or will we be receiving? And then how is it being used?
So we applied last year for 57,000 and we just got a check back for 16,000.
16,700, I believe.
Right. So this year I was able to apply for 78,000. The money used is for personnel. That is for our drug counselor that we have, and for the supplies for operating expenses.
So we applied for 57 last year and we received 16?
So far, because we only had a first quarter. This has only been we've only been in
Right, and
6
our
months.
current permit expires in August, so we still have all of these months to capture. And I submit the reimbursement reports for.
Okay, so we received the money after we have expended it, similar to
correct.
some of the other
Correct.
activities. Okay, good. Thank you.
We should probably use all the money for the grant.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, no further questions. Let's go.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutson.
Aye, passes. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Item number 15.
Move to approve resolution R-05-2024, designating County Judge Ray Garza as authorized official for Aransas County FY 2025 Rifle Resistant Body Armor Grant Program, grant number 512-4501, effective September 1st, 2024 through the Office of the Governor's Criminal Justice Division.
I'll
Oh.
second that.
Got a motion and we have a second. Miss Auditor?
I don't know if the sheriff wanted to comment on it, but this is a new grant that he and Robbie Strahan are interested in. So they came to court last month, I believe, and you guys approved for the applicant or to apply for the grant. We have submitted the application and now this is the resolution that they need for that.
And this is this the
That's a plate, yes, sir, that's a plate.
body armor?
That's part of the armor that we would apply for in this grant. Y'all, we brought it to you a few weeks ago for permission to do it. Now, this is kind of, I guess, the second phase of it that we have to pass a resolution that for the purpose of which we're intended purpose of those and how we're going to use them and y'all's support of the program. The 100 Club here has for years been very gracious and provided us with vests and such, but the body armor with the plates is another step for the ballistic rating and everything else for officer safety. And we just need the resolution so we can proceed with the grant application.
Sounds good.
If I may add to that.
Yes.
May not seem like it in a small community like Aransas County, but those rifle plates have already got lives saved. About 4 officers in Aransas County. That's all I got.
Appreciate it. Thank you. No further questions? All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutson.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 16.
I move to approve resolution R-6-2024, designating County Judge Ray Garza as the authorized official for Aransas County's fiscal year 2025 Bullet Resistant Shield Grant Program. grant number 5057801, effective September 1st, 2024, through the Office of the Governor's Criminal Justice Division.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second.
I said, again, this is just kind of the second verse, same song. Just went through. It's part of the application. These are the shields that we would carry entering into a hallway or approaching a building. Affords the officer a lot of protection to hide behind. They do come with see-through panes in them where you can see where you're going, not having to stick your head up and around it. We have utilized the one that we have in the last 6 months. The intent and hope would be that we'd acquire enough that I'd put one with each of the sergeants and have them more in the field rather than having to return to the office to get the one when we needed it. It's not something that everybody would have, but we would like to have more of them.
What's the cost of them?
I think we received the quote about $3,500 each.
It's reasonable.
And I believe we're going for 4 of them.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutterson.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 17, it's just a discussion about homeless encampments in Aransas County.
I asked that this put on there because currently have one in my precinct, but I think we have more than one in my precinct and have them all over the county. And
Yeah.
a lot of times when people call you, they think we can just snap our fingers and they're gone, but that's not really the case. And thought maybe Elle could go over that and some of the. other
Correct.
questions.
Sorry, I do have the ordinance here for each of you for our public nuisance and also for our OSSF. Because we are in the county, we don't quite have as many rules and regulations that a city would have. I do have both of my code enforcement officers out in the hallway so they can come in and speak to this also. It's a different situation as far as we don't have building codes in the county. And so in the city, they have those regulations that they can fall back on as far as people living in basically anything. Where in the county, you're allowed to do that. It's your private property. You can do what you would like on it. As far as certain property owners, the one that happens to be in Commissioner Casterline's precinct, happens to be the son of the property owner. So even though we can fine the property owner, he's not going to kick his son off of that property. And we have numerous of those kind of situations. We also do have a lot more squatter situations happening in the county that we're trying to deal with. We did meet last week, I believe it was Wednesday, with Chief Deputy Brooks about, ways that we as code enforcement and the Sheriff's Department, how we can start going about taking care of some of these situations. But again, it's very challenging as far as our ordinance. Our ordinance was written back in 2018. I do feel like it needs to be updated. But that takes somebody having the time to go through and make the proper suggestions, go through the county attorney's office, make sure it's correct before it comes to commissioner's court. And I feel like both of them, our OSSF ordinance and our public nuisance ordinance, needs to both be rewritten and updated so that we have a little bit more authority, and that's what we can do. And then these are misdemeanor Cs. So there's not a lot of jail time. It's just a matter of fining people. You get a fine, they pay the fine, we go back. And when we issue an NOV, Dave's here. When we issue a notice of violation, they do have 30 days to comply with it. If they're making progress on their property, we don't take them to court. We try to work with them because we know that most of the people that we are dealing with don't have the funds to be able to come in there with a big dumpster to get everything cleared out right away. So.
Elle, did you say you are working on revising an ordinance to present to us?
No, I feel like there needs to be, the ordinance does need to be updated because it is from 2018. I personally have not had the time. Perhaps when the next director comes in, they'll have that time. We are fully staffed now. We do have our 2 code enforcement officers and we do have an OSSF person.
Great.
So we are fully staffed again. So I feel like that's something that will come.
Okay.
It's just a matter of taking the time.
All right. I just didn't understand if
Yeah.
we were going to expect one in the next quarter two, or it'll be a little farther down the road?
Probably a little farther down the
Okay.
line.
What, you use the term OSS, what is that?
That's the on-site sewage facility.
Okay.
Which those two go hand in hand together, and we are cross-training. I, as the director, am cross-training my code enforcement people into OSSF people so that when they are on site, they can deal with both of those situations. And our OSSF person will be cross-training to be a code enforcement officer, have that same training. So that they can, when they're there, or they can work as a team. They can both go out there because a lot of these places that they go are not necessarily the safest. And so when that happens, we do have to call for an officer to come out there to walk on site with us. So I feel like if they're cross-trained, that will help move the process along a lot farther also, because they can go for both situations.
What exactly is on Stir Street? You said the occupant, the owner of the property, is the father of the occupant?
Correct. Mhm.
And what is the actual violation there, or what are they,
So.
violation of, or?
So basically, on that one, he just has a lot of miscellaneous garbage around. He does seem to be living in, perhaps it's a tent. He does, recently they did bring an RV and travel trailer, and it is sitting in the right of way. We have tried to address that immediately to get that right of way cleaned up, because we do have an ordinance for that. I mean, that's part of our ordinance, is to clean up our right of ways. But as far as any other real violations, he does have up, and I hate to say it, but he does have up a piece of wood, which is like a fencing. And so what he's doing is behind the fencing. So if we can't see it from the street, as far as code enforcement, we can't go onto his property and do anything about it.
You don't have a right to inspect their sewage facilities or on-site wastewater facilities?
We do, as far as the OSSF ordinance, we do. We're not sure that that particular property actually has a septic on it.
Okay.
We've been a little low staffed as far as being able to go out there and walk around on the property. And it's like the lady spoke earlier, it is a very scary piece of property. So now that we have a staff member who can do that, it'll be a lot simpler. And once we, in our new our new code enforcement person is from Port Lavaca. He was a code enforcement in Port Lavaca, so he already is coming in well-trained. Like he's already going to be able to jump in right away.
When you say scary, I understand that. I know when your staff took me on a tour of some of the areas of concern, it really was, you would feel intimidated, unsafe at
Right,
some of
and-
these properties.
Yeah, and there are numerous of those around the county. I mean, it's not just a particular precinct. There's numerous, and we do our patrols. I mean, our guys are out patrolling 6 hours a day, going by, checking out what's going on in their whole entire area, because the code enforcement officers are broken up into precincts. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So they're out there doing their patrols, they're getting to know the people. And it is intimidating when you go out there and you see what's actually going on, and it seems to be growing. And we do seem to have more squatters.
That's a genuine concern, I think, to a lot of, it's actually out there.
Yeah, right. And when you live in certain areas, you probably don't see it. So you got to kind of drive down a couple other streets in your area. Mhm. So I do have the ordinances for each of you, if you'd like to look at them.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
All right.
Do you want to put them in our boxes?
I was gonna say,
And
put them in the mailbox.
I can do that.
because Tracy could maybe put them in there after court or something. Thank you.
I want to take the opportunity to echo what she's talking about. It's not isolated to any one of your precincts, and it's not just, it's in the city as well. And after Harvey, we saw a lot of facilities damaged in people's houses, and we went out and stickered them with 51% and required either total destruction and renovation. We missed, I think, the opportunity with some of the travel trailers and smaller dwellings, and there's places that are still damaged, and people have moved into these. We've dealt with it for a few years, and it's a widespread problem that we need to find a tool for environmental health and code enforcement to work with, because it does impact the safety of the people living around there. The noise, the smell, and some of the people that it attracts. And we've seen some of these trailers moved off and put in the right of ways, and then we end up with them out at the transfer station trying to dispose of them. Some of them are picked up and moved onto the same property and develop little compounds. And so if we could give a look at this and try to figure out something, we met over a year ago, a year and a half ago, because of a discussion we had in Copano Cove and property on Rattlesnake Point Road. And we started the discussion with Jen Osteen, and now it kind of fell apart, but it's being brought up again, and I'd like to see it pushed through if y'all could.
This kind of falls in with what the governor's trying to do and to make sure that we not overcome by people that have no place to go, no place to go through the border crisis. I would think maybe we could work with the legislature to see if we can get some more authority.
It's an opportunity, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that squatting is legal in Texas. And it takes a property owner in most cases
You have to
to
go find 'em.
initiate
Yep.
getting the people off, and sometimes you can't find the property owner or
Some of them left after Harvey, and
yeah,
that was.
I had an instance that somebody that I actually knew growing up, he died and it apparently had no heirs or anything. And I don't know if the people finally just claimed the property or not. The neighbor wasn't happy at all about it, but that's just the way it was.
It's an issue here that's countywide.
Statewide.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Item number 18.
I move to approve allowing the airport manager to write a letter of interest to the Texas Department of Transportation Aviation Division, which is the first step in accessing the bipartisan infrastructure law, a 90% federal match grant to fund the repair of taxi lanes and aircraft parking areas near the T hangars at the airport.
I'll second that.
Our motion got a second. Good morning, Mr. Gear.
Good
All right.
morning. Still good morning.
Please, Lord.
Right, and want you to know that I put this on the Airport Advisory Board agenda. The board members voted unanimously in favor for me to come forward to the commissioners with this request. So currently in the BIL, we have $745,000 available. This project won't cost that much, but TxDOT Aviation will weigh in and help get an opinion of cost for this. Then there'll be an RFQ process. And then if approved, which I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, it's well qualified. Then it'll move up to the FAA, and then they'll hold the bank account or hold the checkbook for it.
This is great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And incidentally, the 10% match, we're not going to use all 745,000, but if we were to, we have the 10% match in our budget for grants.
Perfect. All right. No further
Commissioner,
questions?
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutsa.
Aye, passes 5-0. Good job, Mr. Gear. Item number 19.
Move to approve change order number 1 for construction contract for Ruby Allen and trailer ditch improvements in the county's general land office community development block grant disaster relief contract number 20-065-098-C270 to Anderson Columbia Company, increasing the contract amount by an additional $823,262.22. This change order will increase the contract amount to $4,569,611 to $5,392,923.23. The change order is for the additional work needed to relocate existing utilities and adding concrete ditch lining.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning, Mr. Reed.
Morning.
That seems like an awfully large change order.
It's an awfully large ditch.
Yeah, really.
It is a large change order. It is a large project. This is well below the 25% we're allowed to make change orders.
What made them decide to put a concrete bottom in?
We made them decide to put a concrete bottom there.
What's the reasoning?
We had some ditch slopes that were getting steeper, and we didn't feel like the erosion control that was going to be used was going to keep those standing. So concrete.
And it's all included in the grant.
It's all included in the grant, right?
All right. Going vote.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gottison.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 20.
Move to approve change order number 2 on the construction contract for East Linden and the county's general land office community development block grant disaster relief contract number 20-065-098-C270 to Gerke Excavating Incorporated in the amount of $99,351.12. Changes included adding 741 linear feet arch piping for $156,439.92. Refund of $46,728 for concrete box culverts. Refund of $133,677.60 for sodding. $102,285.60 for erosion mat in place of sod, and $21,031.20 oak pipe and insulation.
I'll second it.
Installation.
Got a motion, got a second.
Could you just explain this slightly?
I'm sorry, explain.
Explain it slightly.
Slightly.
I
Okay,
understand the,
Briefly.
erosion mat,
okay.
the sodding, just the arc pipe.
Basically, this was done for the betterment of the project. We wanted to increase the size of pipes, driveway, culverts on Linden. So we asked to make them larger. That was the biggest chunk of this. And it is HDPE pipe, not hope pipe, but that's okay. The erosion matting, we saw this contractor use it on another project of the county and it worked really well. So we wanted to get that changed.
I was wondering what hope pipe was. Hope it works, I guess.
I was looking at that, wondering what it was too, and it finally hit me.
Might be more true than not.
Hope it doesn't float.
Hope it works.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
and Judge Gottison.
Aye, passes. Item number 21.
I move to approve the change order number 3 for construction contract for Rattlesnake Point Road in the county's general land office community development block grant number 20-065-098-C270 to New Stout Excavating Group, Texas LLC, to increase the contract time by an additional 60 days. This increase will extend the contract time from 377 days to 437 days.
Second.
Okay, the additional time is for the repair of the detour roads that we were able to get included in the grant, which is a good thing. But they do need more time to do that, and we really don't want to seal coat too early in the year because of the weather.
Is Allen M. Parks part of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
How are they gonna, they're gonna chip seal it instead of using asphalt, or what are they gonna?
Yeah, they're gonna chip seal it, and it, depending on the cost of it, which I don't know what that's gonna be yet, they're still working on it, but it might be that Road and Bridge does the chip sealing if we can't fit it in the budget.
So we're looking at Allen M. Parks, part of Salt Lake Road, then also part of East Sagebrush, and then part of Old Salt Lake Road.
Yeah, all those streets that have been used as detour, and some of them are in worse shape than others, so we'll, probably evaluate at the time to spend all the money we can.
And then the folks who live on those roads will be notified that there'll be construction.
We could do that. Sure, they'll be happy.
Sure they will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 22.
I move to approve declaring the Aransas County two thousand eight John Deere 5075M as surplus and use it as a trade-in for the purchase of a replacement vehicle and authorize county judge and or county staff to execute the necessary documents.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second.
So this tractor started working for the county the same time I did. And it's
We're replacing both of y'all about the
it's time
same
for us
time.
both to go.
I hope you're not that worn out.
But this tractor is going to give us
You're worth
15
more than that tractor, David. I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you for saying so.
The tractor's worth 15,000.
Your trade-in's worth a lot more.
Looks like a good deal. Looks like a good deal.
It is. We were tickled to get what they were gonna give us for the
Yeah.
trade-in.
But you're worth a lot more as a trade-in.
Mm-mm.
Well, thank you.
Well, we'll have to see about that. There you go.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes. Item number 23.
I move to approve the purchase of a 2023 New Holland Power Star 75 for the amount of $44,554 and using the 2008 John Deere 5075M as a trade-in and authorize county judge and or county staff to execute necessary documents.
Second.
Got a motion and I've got a second.
Okay, and this New Holland will be the second one that we've had. We've been really happy with the first one. Oh. So the price is good.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 24.
I move to
approve.
approve entering into a contract for grant writing services between Aransas County, Texas and Lone Star Strategy Group LLC for a period of 1 year for monthly payments of $3,000.
I'll second that.
I've got a motion, I've got a second. Commissioners, if you remember October, we approved Lone Star Strategy Group for grant writing services. It was going to be $2,000, but the agreement was she was going to give us a discount because she was going to work for us and the NAV district together combined. The NAV district never executed their part, so Lone Star Strategy never executed her contract with us. It was kind of a dead deal and it was, and so I'm just bringing it to y'all so that she only works for us.
After we approved the last time and I looked a little more, to me, she's lacking in experience. I think there are other people out there who might serve us better.
And I never really understood what she was trying to sell us on. This is not to replace GrantWorks, right?
No, sir. We still
This
have
is
GrantWorks. This was,
This is to handle smaller projects.
right. Yes, sir. She's not going after the big, how does she say it? She wants the trimmings. She don't want the main meal and that's what she goes after. And she'll help us, I believe, some of the department heads have approached me. Hey, what about this grant writer? Is she on board? Can I use her? There's interest. And I was like, no, she never executed her part of the contract. And,
So did she ever respond back until now why she hadn't executed?
right, yeah,
I noticed she said that they were supposed to be going to sign on and.
I've been in contact with her and, and it was ongoing and she's actually attended a couple of meetings on her dime. But yeah, we were I knew she wasn't going to execute it without the NAV district on board for that $2,000 a month. But for her to work with us, and not the NAV district, it's going to be 3,000.
Where exactly is the $3,000 a month gonna come from?
Professional services out of,
We budgeted the $24,000, but the other 12,000 would need to come out of fund balance or if we don't spend all the professional services.
Okay, okay.
The only item I have is, and I visited with Eric about this before court, on page 2 of the contract, under item 4 compensation, we need to insert in there per month because it says will be compensated for a fixed fee of $3,000.
Oh.
But we need to insert per month. Thank you.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Does this also include like the program that, the grant that I wrote? Or is this something I can continue free of charge?
Oh. Like, what are you trying to ask? Yeah,
I mean, we do a lot of it ourselves.
I know. I know.
And we will be getting quarterly progress reports or
Yes, sir.
from,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
No.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
I,
Judge Garza.
Aye. 4-1 passes. Item number 25 and 26, I'm going to strike from the agenda. Should have did it at the beginning. But these are not complete. We don't have the AIA documents yet. So we're going to save those for the next meeting. Item number 27.
Move to approve the indigent healthcare report for January 2020.
I'll second that.
Good morning.
Morning.
If you have any questions, I do know one item on the inpatient hospital is a little bit high, but there was actually 2 clients and one of them was in the hospital twice. So that explains the 29,000.
Well, I noticed prescription drugs total was down from, I think, last month when it was $11,000.
They really worked on, especially at the jail, returning some stuff, getting some credits. But there's some more credits yet to
Great.
come, so.
Okay, good. That's very good. And I know that Sarita was working, I think, with the jail or some other folks about a new provider. Has that been identified or still?
I don't know where that's at because there's not a whole lot out there, but they were gonna check with other counties to see who was out there, so. I was gonna let the jail staff do what they wanted to do. We're just watching the costing.
But the credits are good.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
I,
Judge Garza.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 28.
Move to approve the job description for an attorney that will serve under the Commissioners Court.
I'll second it.
Got a motion, got a second. I'm going to read the background. This is something I brought to the court. The Commissioners Court serves as the governing body for our county, responsible for making critical decisions that impact the welfare and development of our community. As the complexity and scope of legal issues faced by the county continue to grow, there is a compelling need to enhance the court's legal capacity by adding a dedicated attorney position to the team. This strategic move is aimed at fortifying the county's ability to navigate legal challenges, ensure compliance with evolving laws, and ultimately protect the best interests of our residents. This position is going to be separate from the county attorney's office. And I know the question is going to be asked if we could take the money from the county attorney, civil attorney, and put it to this, and the answer is no. The county attorney still needs a civil attorney to do civil work in the county attorney's office.
Jim was spending, a massive amount of time on ours. It just appears that that was in the budget.
And Jen was working a lot
The
of,
county attorney would like to have it in there, but as would anybody else in
Jen,
their department. But
Jen was working a godly amount of hours and on the weekends, but to get all the work done. Eric, you want to? Okay.
I'm not an attorney, by the way. Amanda previously spoke with Judge Garza about his desire to hire an attorney specifically for the Commissioner's Court. She has let Judge Garza know the downsides of doing so. Since Amanda is currently next door in district court picking a jury, she has provided this letter to make sure certain information is provided to the Commissioner's Court as a whole, county employees and to the public. Amanda believes the summary of this job is a bit misleading. The attorney position would not be responsible for developing and implementing the county government legal affairs as a whole, but they can in fact do many of the things in the job description. Although in Amanda's opinion, a majority of these duties listed do not specifically require an attorney's expertise, the important information Amanda must stress today that if you take legal guidance from an attorney outside of the county attorney's office, you are opening yourself up to being held personally liable for the outcome of those choices. Yes, even if Amanda does not know about it. Amanda is not one who could be held accountable. You are. So please keep that in mind when you are seeking out legal opinions from anyone outside of her office. Amanda will not be conferring her legal authority to make a decision or give legal opinions to anyone who does not work for her in her department. Amanda is sure that you understand.
All right, thank you.
I had some questions. Actually, I had visited with the judge a few months ago. After talking with people within the county and at the city to see if we could possibly have an attorney who reported just to Commissioner's Court, and perhaps we could contract for the services. And Judge Garza has experience in another role with using contracted attorneys and feels that you don't really have a handle on what the expenses would be, which is true. You use them as you need them, and if you need them for something major, that would be a lot of money. However, there are advantages to having someone who can be apart from perhaps the county attorney's office that could give us legal advice. But my concerns with this job description were just some of these tasks seem to be more public information officer related. I do think we need an attorney that is devoted to Commissioner's Court. I am a little concerned with some of the things that Eric just mentioned in Amanda's comments. And I wonder if we might table this until we could sort of take another look at the situation.
I've got some of the same concerns because some of this look like, when you look at the job descriptions or essential duties, it seems to be being a lobbyist as much as anything. And there's associated costs when because it talks about representing the county's interests at legislative committees during sessions and things like that. That kind of falls into, do we need an attorney doing that necessarily? Or, are they going to be available to the court? And the other thing, I have some of the duties here, and also I came across thinking you're looking at that person being our public information officer also. And I had concerns about being dedicated strictly to the court where the money would come from. And if that's, even though they're a county employee, would they, with their opinion, be as thorough or as firm as it was through the county attorney's office? Just I'd second that tabling if we do table.
Okay. And yeah, it's a work in progress. This is a first draft. The part about the legislature, I did testify last year twice in front of the legislature, and Jen was with me at both times. So that I kept that in there because of that reason. But if I want an attorney in here in Commissioner's Court.
Yeah.
And
well, I think it's a good idea. What I think is, I do think the county attorney ought to work for our county attorney. However, I think that there are enough duties going on with the Commissioners Court and everything that we need an attorney out of that office assigned to the Commissioners Court through the county judge for opinions and things like that, because whenever Jen's in here having to do this, she can't be across doing the other stuff, and you know, she has a full-time job too. All of her attorneys have a full-time job, and I hate expanding the attorney's office, but I really do think that the points that Ms. Osteen made were valiant, were good points.
May I add something? I'm sorry. I had talked to the judge about this. I agree with what Amanda's saying. If it needs to be under the county attorney's office as someone directly associated or dedicated to the court, we need a lot of help. We need help with writing policies, reviewing policies. We need help with resolutions. We need help with RFPs, contracts, a lot of that stuff that they don't always have time to just set aside for us. And some of those things end up getting postponed or dragged along for months. And so if we had somebody, whether it be in the county attorney's office or working directly for the commissioners or dedicated even directly to commissioners, it would certainly help a lot in streamlining some of the stuff that we have to do.
And I'm fine with that. I don't
agree with that.
Yeah, I don't care who the attorney works for. They could work for, they could work for you for all I care. I just want someone in here. I just want someone in here, so.
Well, I know a lot of times we've needed, say revising ordinances and things like animal control ordinance that time. It takes so long because Jen would have so many other projects going. And if you have someone who is dedicated to helping the court out, you can help, the judge could help prioritize what needs to be done.
Right.
The problem is if it's in the county attorney's office. Okay, department heads come and ask for budget to do certain things. When we budgeted the county attorney's office, I believe we all thought we budgeted that person.
Yes.
And it's great that it's been in there. But we can't dictate to a department head or elected official how they do their job. So we don't have a law attorney down there right now, and we need one. So, I mean, I would move to withdraw the motion and table it where we can look at farther, but that's the negative thing that I see. If it's in the county attorney's office, we don't have control of it. I mean, I know they have a hard time hiring people and they're advertised and everything, but I think Jen was she did put more hours in on ours than probably a full-time employee working for us would. But I don't know. I think the judge and
we'll have to work it out.
Commissioners Court, I mean, we need somebody.
Yeah.
We do need somebody.
Wherever it is, but we need them to be designated to us wherever they are.
Yes, Mr. Gear.
And so Commissioner Castelline brings up a good point that if the attorney works for the other elected official, which is to say Amanda, does Amanda hire this attorney or does?
Yes.
Right. So if the Commissioner's Court decides that the attorney is going to work for the Commissioner's Court answer to the judge, then it seems to me that the Commissioner's Court would then make the hire. In other words, you may be able to find a candidate that you find more appealing or you are looking for different qualities in than somebody that may be working for another elected official. Just wanted to say that for the record.
Yeah, well, and like I say, the dilemma is if they worked for us, we could dictate that they worked for us and not work on something else, or the judge could dictate what their job was. I don't know.
Right. So, all right. So motion on the floor is to table it. And is there a second with that?
Yeah, Bob did.
Bob seconded that. All right, we'll go back to the drawing table and do some more
Do you want
work.
to do roll call?
Yeah, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goodison.
Aye, passes. I'm sorry, the table. All right, item number 29.
I move to approve request for authorization for the Justice of the Peace offices to use overtime for a state warrant roundup.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, got a second. Good morning, Judge.
Okay, so this is pertaining to the statewide roundup. Since we are working 2 solid weeks, that includes Saturday and Sunday, the clerks will be receiving 16 hours additional. And I'm hoping that we can get that pay for each clerk. The Saturday and Sunday is going to be from 10 to 2 p.m. The courthouse will be open. We will have it staffed with judges here to take care of anybody who's coming in or anybody who wants to pay during that time. That's going to be March 2nd and 3rd, March 9th and 10th, Saturday and the Sunday. I do have the money in the budget, but not budgeted for overtime. Correct?
Yes, there should be money in the budget. We would just have to do a line item transfer to correct that, to
We need,
recognize that.
And that is actually out of my office. I did not confer with Judge Dupnick to see what she had, how they were handling it.
It should be the same.
well, we have to, also have to have the security guard and
That's what I was just wondering with
and
Donnie,
manager.
but he does mostly comp time, doesn't he?
Well,
He gets paid
who's
overtime
coming in
also?
is going to be the officers themselves who are going to be bringing in
Oh,
defendants.
okay.
So
So there's
they're
not gonna be
gonna be
anybody, well,
here.
but with the doors open, I think is the concern.
Yeah,
With the,
yeah.
I did not confer with the sheriff, but he is involved in this warrant roundup.
And the sheriff does have overtime budget.
Gavin?
Well, he can't. Well, yes, he can because he's elected. Okay,
And I can get with Doc to see if he's available also.
okay.
Maybe they could share weekends.
Custodian,
I don't know that
I don't
you'd need a
think-
custodian.
We don't need a custodian.
You're probably not gonna, are you
No.
gonna have the doors open or just?
No, well, I mean, we're gonna have somebody, we're gonna have full staff. I mean, I'm gonna have, there'll be 6, 7, 8, 9 clerks. We'll be able to monitor it.
okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gutson.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 30.
I move to approve a request from the airport manager, Mike Gear, to self-insure the airport hangars and use the saved premium of $125,535 to create a building replacement fund for the airport.
I'll second that.
Morning, Mr. Gear.
Good morning,
That's
and
good.
thank you for hearing the, my, argument on this, case because on this issue, I brought it up to the judge a while back and then brought it with, to Jackie's attention and we had a little powwow about it, but it seems to me that, the cost for insuring the airport it's gone up 1,000% since I've been here. So it's just going to keep getting higher as we add buildings back. And so when you try to build in the M&O into the rent or the lease for those facilities, we're going to price ourselves out of the market, number one. So I wanted to say that from the airport remaining budget neutral standpoint, it's not tenable with insurance costs being what they are. So in an effort to keep the airport in the off the backs of the taxpayers, which it currently is, and not everybody knows that, but it is, and we're pretty proud of that. One of very few airports in the state of Texas that operates on in such a way. But in an effort to do that, I thought maybe it might be worth our efforts to create a fund for a building replacement. Because the hangars that have been replaced and rebuilt at the airport now are wind rated to much higher standards, over 150 miles an hour, and as partially enclosed structures. In other words, the door comes up, the building has been engineered to withstand that. It seems to me that maybe we're looking at a maximum of having to reskin the building as opposed to just completely rebuild it. Previous hangars were not built to any standard that anybody can discern or tell me. They were built to a budget and they weren't particularly well maintained and they fell down in a pretty strong wind. But these hangars, first of all, we dropped flood a number of years ago because we just weren't at risk of flood at 22 feet above sea level. Number one. Number two, the airport has superior drainage. And number three, they're just metal buildings with a concrete slab. If they get flooded, they're going to dry right out. So that made sense. It seems to me that in a wind event, we're looking at the Cat 5 hurricane that would hit us with the kind of wind that could potentially take these hurricanes down. I believe there have been 2 Cat 5 hurricanes make landfall in the United States since they've been rating hurricanes. Andrew and was it Camille? But that's one issue. But the other issue is that our hazard mitigation plan currently, we are at a 0.6% chance of a major hurricane making landfall any given hurricane season. Now that's a Cat 3 or higher. So if all I think our biggest risk is a really high wind from a Cat 5 hurricane, seems to me that our money might be better spent putting it into a fund. It does not come without risk. I'm not an actuary. I can't put the exact numbers on it, but it doesn't come without risk. But that risk is very, very small. And if, currently we're 6.5 years removed from the hurricane, well, I still don't have 5 hangars. If that's some sort of a standard, I think I could rebuild the airport with grants inside of 7 years. Even if we didn't have enough money in the airport hangar rebuild fund. So we're not, by the way, that number is probably going to end up being a little bit higher than 125,000 because we don't need to put the fuel pavilion on there. It's at the end of its life. I'm going to get a grant to replace it. When we replace it, we'll probably want to insure it. But we
Correct.
probably
It won't be, maybe another 10,000 or so.
Yeah,
It's
about
not- It's a
10,000.
small amount.
But the beacon of the other, because when the beacon comes down, there's money to replace it with even routine airport maintenance program grant, ramp grant.
Even if we increased what we would normally put in for insurance by 10%, and look at it again another 5 years or whatever, if we can go 10 years with that, we can certainly replace one or more of the hangars at any given time, and we would already be back to full complement here. Yeah, I mean, how much are we waiting for just at the airport?
It's over $10 million.
Yeah.
And bear in
we can
mind,
certainly we can build a couple of hangars for $10 million.
easy. And bear in mind that we're probably not going to be rebuilding the hangar. We're going to be reskinning the hangar, which is a fraction of the cost.
Even if we had to rebuild it, we could probably go out for grants or something like that much less interest rate.
What's the value of what you're talking about self-insuring?
The hangars themselves, what did we have a number of?
It's on the second page.
And is
It's on the back
it only
page.
hangars?
Just hangars, yeah. So the terminal building, FBO, the fixed based operation, and the Eugene Johnson Memorial Hangar, because we have some assets in there, or the building has a lot of value. But those would all be insured with wind, yes, sir, and TWIA. What I was going to say, that the one thing I wanted to add is that, now, bear in mind, we're still, when I prepare the budget every year, it's going to be a negative number, from a cash flow standpoint because of what insurance costs us. So if we're putting in this, I'm still asking for the $125,000 to spend, but put it into a fund. So at some point, Alma's already gone, but at some point, the airport's going to have to pay back what it's borrowing from the county. That's just the way we're set up. We're not set up to operate on the general fund. So at some point, everything that we're in the hole, if we win a lottery, we've got to pay that back. So that's not lost on me either. So when we get the rest of our hangars back and we start making money again, we're probably many years from being at the reserves that we had before Harvey. We were up near $500,000 in reserves. we're a long ways from that, but when we get everything rebuilt, get it re-rented, and we're operating in the positive again, then this money will really be stacking up and it won't represent anything to the general fund.
So we're talking about putting in $125,000 to start the fund.
Yes. And then whatever the percentage of the airport's insurance would be every year going forward, or we could come up with just a definite number, not to exceed.
Yeah, that'll be between, up to Commissioner's Court. If
Yep.
you want to just do a flat amount that just goes in, I would recommend probably even just staying with what the insurance is.
Okay. Because we know the values of the buildings and we can calculate from that.
So currently, I mean, this 125,000 you're talking about comes from the airport fund or the general fund?
Well,
From the airport fund.
it comes from the airport fund, but at some point, like I say, when I present the budget to you that I intend to spend $1.3 million and we're gonna make $1.2 million, then I'm asking the general fund for $100,000. But it's spread out over the entire budget.
Well,
I
think,
believe right now, Commissioner, what you're asking, it's set up as a receivable that we will receive it from the airport once the funds are there. So it's always covered. It's just that, it's gonna show that the airport's in a negative where
Yeah.
well, eventually we'll be in the
and if
positive.
we
It's
do that,
always, it's always covered if they have the money in there, but if it blew
If
down
it
next
blew
year.
down.
Correct.
Right.
But then, like I said, we're 6.5 years removed from that storm.
Yeah.
And we still don't have all the hangars. We lost 9. We have 4 of those have been replaced. So I've got 5. that
and,
we
and
don't
how
have
much
yet.
does it cost us to replace them with the legal fees and everything so far too?
Right.
I,
But
I think it's a good idea.
We called the question.
Yes.
Commissioner Kane,
Let me, before we do that, do we want to set an amount and, started, what do we want to do?
The amounts here, $125,535.
And Jackie suggested that it just be whatever the insurance value is of the hangars every year.
And that's what this $125,000 is. I do have the documents from TWIA
Okay.
that show what the premiums were for those hangars that we proposed to self-insure.
Okay. All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
afternoon.
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
I think I'm gonna say no. I've done this myself, but it was my own money, not the taxpayers.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goodison.
Aye. Passes 4-1. Got item number 31.
Okay, based on the vote that y'all just took, the renewal for the TWIA, I had originally put that it was $700,779. That will actually be $575,245,000. I do need you to approve paying it. It is not in the accounts payable that you're going to approve in a little while. We can either just make during the motion, make that. But I did not put it in there because I did not know what the vote was going to be for the prior item.
So,
I move to approve renewing the Aransas County windstorm insurance with Texas Windstorm Insurance Association, removing the airport hangars and paying the premium, which will be due of $575,245.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second.
Commissioner Cheney,
aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Goodison.
Aye, passes 5-0. Item number 32.
We have none.
Yay.
I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of y'all.
So I don't have to vote on this part, right?
Oh,
No, I think we do.
yeah, we need to.
Okay, just making sure. Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Motion or-
I don't think we had a
Wait,
motion.
Oh,
yeah.
For a second, I jumped the
So-
gun.
I will move that we approve the budget line item transfers for the 2024 budget.
second.
Got a
Okay,
motion, got a second.
now we can do a roll call.
okay. Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
and Judge Goodison.
Aye, passes. Item number 33.
I move to approve accounts payable and payroll/payroll liabilities.
Second.
These are normal payables, payroll, liability. I did want to let y'all know this does include our debt service payments that are due, principal that's due in February, as well as half of the interest. And the refunding for 2012, the LTRs for 2012 are paid off. Yay. It includes for Fund 430, PGAL, $8,685.47 for the courthouse project. New Stout Construction, which is the Rattlesnake Road project. There's a check for $1,605,661.75. This is for August through December invoices. Brizzo Construction, a check for $481,330.33. This is the Southeast Aransas County projects, and DLF for the community building is $166,444.46. Those, I will remind you, for the New Stout, Brizzo, and DLF are all reimbursed at 100%. They're part of our GLO grant. T Baker Engineering for the water tank at the detention center, invoice of $475. They're the engineers to do that project. These are ARPA funds that are used, and Mammoth Foundation is for the generators out at Animal Control and AgriLife, was $100,938.42. And those are also ARPA funds. And then Teal Construction's invoice was $595,619.53. And I will be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
All right.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Scottson.
Aye, passes 5-0. And we don't need to go into closed session. We don't have an attorney here. So
What
we'll,
about,
oh, I'm sorry. I'm all ready to go.
I'm ready to go too, but I have something.
Item number 12, I'm sorry, reports from commissioners, elected officials, and department heads.
All right, I have two things I'd like to mention. There was a statement made earlier about the Pathways has to hire people to do the maintenance there because they don't have volunteers. Actually, Pathways used to hire contracted employees who cost the county a lot of money. We have absorbed that, and the Public Facilities Department is taking care of that, and the maintenance costs have decreased substantially. And second, there is a group called Texas Wino. I'm not sure where they're based in Texas, but they have a website. They may be on Stewart Street, I don't know. But they had an event on their website. They have hundreds of events posted on their website, but one listed that the Rock, which is the convention center here, was going to have a Texas Wine Festival, March maybe 25th or 26th. Anyway, whatever the Saturday is in March, there was no contract ever done with the Rock for that event. This Texas Wino Group made one inquiry about, is that date open? They then posted and have been selling tickets for this event with no refunds. And the executive director, Luis Puron, only found out about it late Thursday through Instagram messages, immediately contacted his attorney, and Texas Wino has pulled that. But now they're saying they're going to have an event in Aransas Pass, and the Aransas Pass Community Center doesn't have anything about that either. It seems to be a scam group. My husband is chair of the board for the Maritime Museum, and they had several people call asking about if the Maritime Museum's Memorial Day event was rescheduled at the Rock. So I just want to clarify it. The Maritime Museum will still be having their wine festival Memorial Day weekend, and the Center for the Arts and the Rock were in no way trying to compete. This was a total scam, and it's unfortunate that many people have fallen prey to it, not just here, but in other communities. Thank you.
Have they reported to the AG's office or something like that? Anything like that?
I can check with Luis to see what their attorney has done. I only found out about all of this on Saturday. And I'll be checking with my own attorney to see what we can do. Gavin, did you want to speak to that or something else?
Something else.
Okay. Thank you.
I just had a couple of quick things. I would have spoken when the line item came up, but I lacked certain data with regard to Narcan. Just made some quick inquiries, and I'm going to push it with a recommendation because we got the citizens watching in. If you are prescribed an opioid for pain management, that includes pain patches, I wholeheartedly recommend that you get Narcan. I just checked. It is available over the counter at Walgreens. It is in stock here in Rockport and at the Aransas Pass location. It's about $45 for 2 doses, and it's an FSA approved item. You should have that in your house. We have responded to calls where kids have gotten a hold of the used pain patches and they still contain enough fentanyl to kill an adult. That's all I had, ma'am.
Great. No, thank you for bringing that information.
2 items last night. Y'all need to say thank you to the volunteer firemen you run into. We burned 120 acres last night, south end of the county into Smith Road. Fire got out of hand. They were burning some trash. Ended up coming clear over the bypass and south of Johnson Road. People need to understand there's a ton of dry fuel under these trees with the freeze, and with the wind that they had last night, they're, I think, fortunate they stopped it at the bypass and that we didn't burn on both sides. But they were out there way into the early morning hours this morning. Woodsboro, Refugio, Annabelle, departments came from all around to assist them out there and shut down the highway for quite a while. But your volunteer firemen did a superb job, and they need to be acknowledged in that effort. And on the other deal, I wanted to clarify and really try to stress the point that the Narcan in the jail, my fear is that it's going to end up in my drug recovery box outside when they walk outside. But it'll give me the opportunity to start a little bit of drug education with them and try to open the door that we can get them to counseling and get them off the cycle they're caught up in. This is in no way an effort on any one of our 3 parts to support drug abuse and continuing in that endeavor. But trying to get out into the community more of an awareness about the effects of fentanyl and the other opioids that have taken over households of people you know and friends and neighbors of yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Like to mention, when the sheriff mentioned about the fire yesterday, a week ago, I had a couple people approached me about, we need to have a full-time paid fire department. There's no way our community could afford, the volunteers we have right now, the commitment they have and the equipment that they have is such an asset to our county. And, you know, the resource, they help each other, work with each other. But for us to have a full-time fire department would be such an expense that this group, you know, saves our taxpayers, and the commitment they have is such an advantage to the county. I just want to thank our volunteers also and for what they do for our community.
And another thing about that, I've been over communities that have had paid fire departments and volunteer fire departments. The response time and the success is very minimal difference, very minimal difference. The only thing that I would say about that fire is that according to one of the witnesses out there, they came out there without any water in the trucks. And that's the second time they've done that in that particular area. And I have no idea why, or maybe they just had come from another fire or something and had time to do it. But, okay.
So I'd like to, firstly, I don't think that wasn't the case. There were 14 agencies that showed up. If somebody did show up without water, I don't know who it was. There was, every truck had water.
Well, I was just saying that we need to make sure that that's not an issue.
No, but you mentioned about expensive equipment. So, you know, and there was talk about paid fire department too. And what I'm starting to notice, and I'm new coming into it, I'm trying to be objective about how all this is looked at. You got 3 different volunteer fire departments in Aransas County, and they have 3 very different philosophies, 3 different chiefs, 3 different organizations that have different ideas about how to fight fire. Last night with Texas Fire Service on hand, and that's the state's basically, they're not volunteers, but they come to assist volunteer fire departments, especially with wildland fires like what we experienced last night. There were conversations happening between the chiefs and with TFS that I haven't seen those happen before. And with discussions about how we fight fires, they lose equipment all the time. Every year, one of our volunteer fire departments loses an asset. It either burns or it's ruined. They had a truck stuck last night in a hole for 4 hours. And luckily they fought the fire around it and saved the asset. But it took that long to get it out of there and get it back into the fight. So what I'm saying when I say that is they're going to need everybody's support when that time comes. That the thing that they agreed or how they agree to fight fires going forward may not be your opinion or my opinion or whoever else's opinion, but it might be that it's the best way for them to save their assets, save lives. They're fighting fires in the same spots every other year, every year. You got land that is allowed to overgrow in some cases. Last night, the fire didn't even really begin to get under control until the first bulldozer showed up. And when that happened, it was a game changer. We need a bulldozer, whether that's a cooperative effort where all 3 departments raise money to get a dozer, or they look for money from the municipality. It benefits us to have one. Keep it on a trailer ready to go where any of the 3 departments can hook into it and take it out to a fire. Right now, we're completely reliant on a landowner to provide a bulldozer on their own property to help create fire breaks, or wait until TFS gets here, which they are hours away from any fire that happens. But the other thing too is that if we had a bulldozer, we could start working with our fire departments to identify pieces of land, work with landowners to then cut fire breaks and to manage property ahead of a fire season, so that if and when that property is allowed to catch on fire, it's easier to manage. And we don't lose so many trees. Right now, this property lost almost every tree on it. You know, it was either burned to the point that it's going to die, or it was pushed over in a pile and it's smoldering with the mud and sand that's on it right now. So this fire is going to go on for a while. It flared up again last night. They're mopping it up today, and they're not going to be done today with it. It's still going to be a problem. And when we have more and more of these happen, it's nice that we have some assets. If it's daytime, we got tankers that can come in and drop that stuff with precision. We saw it happen on the Myrtle fire. Last night, that wasn't going to be an option. It would have ended this fire pretty quickly, I think, if we'd have had that, but we aren't always going to have it. So just wanted to say that when the chiefs and departments get together and come up with a plan on how they want to fight fires, they need our support. Because they truly are the experts. They're the ones that know what they've been doing before is not the most effective way to do it. There's a better way to do it. There's smarter ways to do it.
When we did give them a bulldozer, I don't know the condition of it when Road and Bridge gave it to them, but we did give them one.
I don't know who had that.
I think Rockport.
Okay. I don't think it's serviceable right now, but definitely hasn't been to any fire that I've been to.
When, and talking about a bulldozer, whenever I was with, Floresville and also again with Marble Falls, we contracted bulldozer to cut fire roads back into areas where we had, a history of fire, that were maybe hard to get to or whatever, and they were a lot larger than they needed to be. We cut roads with the owner's permission, and that worked out real good. And that was done with the volunteer fire department.
Right. Good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Reports about items of community interest. Anybody? All right. Eric, you got something? No? David, you're good?
I've got one right
All right,
now.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Judge, I've
I'll
got one.
second that. Oh, wait, Colin?
Oh, hold on. Colin has something.
So just so everyone's aware, Spectrum is down in our area again. That it does include 911 this time. Those calls are going to Ingleside though.
Oh, wow.
And Verizon is also down.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Why are they down so much, Colin?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah. We got a motion. We got a second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline, Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
And Judge Gladstone.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, Lacey didn't make